Okay. Okay, and I'm pretty sure I said a minute ago, Yeshaya chapter 48 is Ezekiel 48, where you count the 13 tribes. Uh, so again, you know, uh, the only way people are going to understand this book, read, study, pray, and do. I mean, and if they don't apply those four things, in harmony, they're not going to understand this book. I don't care how much they fiddle around with it and back and forth. They've got to read the book Genesis through Malachi at least one time. Then they go back, and you got to pray to Yah for wisdom and understanding. That's the humbling factor. Again, meek gonna inherit the earth. Okay, meekness but it's not weakness. Meekness is not weakness. Okay, but the meek are going to inherit the earth, and those who perfect with Yah in their heart, who put Yah first all the time. Yeah, read, study, pray, and do. That's the formula. You don't do that, you're not going to understand this book. He's not going to allow you to understand it. You 42:17, you're shy. You're going to be turned back. You putting anything before Yah. Just that simple. Democracy Now! Shows for April 12th. It talks, one of the subjects, the main one that you go check it out if you hadn't seen it, how these drug companies made billions of dollars and still making it, right, from the pandemic. That's the 12th of April. And then the 13th of April, you know, talking about the hypocrisy, and the gouging of these companies, and hypocrisy, the hypocrisy that America's in. I mean, it's ridiculous. And April the 15th, the war industries, how they're making money. Again, like they send all these, materials supposedly to the Ukraine, to Zelensky and the Edomites. And again, you've got plenty of Edomites in the Ukraine that live over there, speak Russian, right? Ukrainian or whatever, you know what I mean? But they like in this Nazi mindset. We've seen it on RT. You got these Edomite groups over there. They like Nazis, and that's again what I mentioned earlier. About this Lavrov, the ambassador to Russia, what he talks about. I'm gonna read the article that later on. That he talks about what he said about Hitler being, his mother was Jewish, but like I said, Hitler might have been a Jew himself. Okay, you know what I mean? Period. From his father's side, you know what I mean? And from what I understand, Adolf Eichmann was an Edomite. Okay, but you got a lot of these Edomites that's over in Ukraine. They like Nazis, and the Edomites that's in the land of Israel, the Jews, they like Nazis. Edomites don't like it. They want to always claim that anti-Semitism like they the only Shemites in the world. I still don't get that. Because I still waiting to hear, you understand, one of these, so-called Palestinians who are really Israel and don't know it, basically don't want to know it, basically, right? Like Ali Abu Nima, I would think that he would have said that, some of them would, Arakat, he's dead now, but, Yasser Arafat, you know what I mean? When these Edomites be talking about anti-Semitism, they Shemites, even if they were what the Edomites call them and have labeled them Arabs, even if they were that would make them out of Ishmael, right? Even if they were that makes them Shemites. You follow what I'm saying? So, it lets you know the propaganda machine that the Edomites control the media and churn out all this nonsense about anti-Semitism. Because I saw this guy, the ADL Goldblatt Edomite, right? I've seen him before here the other week, talking about this anti-Semitism on the rise. But, like they're the only descendants of Shem in the world. Okay? But they commit anti-Semitism, huh? Anti-Shemitism is really what the Semitism, they call it Semites, but it's really Shemite, right? Out of Shem. You understand this? Anti-Shemitism, I see that they perpetrate that every day on the so-called Palestinians who are really Israelites. Now that's the reality of that, right? And the anti-Shemitism they could commit on the other Israelites that's over in the land, out of the, the Mona movement and whatever other Israelites that's over there, right? As well as over here and over in Europe, right? What they do to the descendants of Israel. You understand? That's why they want to label us black. Okay? You follow what I'm saying? All these misperceptions that they have flooded the world with. Again, that's you remember 8:17, bitten by serpents and cockatrices that cannot be charmed. Okay? So, but again, at April 15th, talking about the war industries, you know what I mean? And then Democracy Now! April the 18th, the Palestinians attacked. See, the more like that's, the El Asa, they was attacked up there, worshiping the black stone, their idols, right? And then April the 28th, you watch that Democracy Now! Then they're talking about $100 million supposedly that Harvard College has put forth now to try to exonerate themselves from the slave, trade that they were in, and the slaves that they had and that they utilized, descendants of Israel, so-called African Americans or Africans, right, in the slave trade, but really Israelites, right, that they utilized in Harvard College, you follow what I'm saying, to create that college and to get that college up and running, right? But at the same time, if you watch that, again, that's April 28th, if you watch that, you'll also see this brother, he's a professor, Craig Wilder, because he's written a book, Ebony and Ivy, IVY, Ebony and Ivy, and this book is about how these colleges, not black colleges, but these colleges, these big time colleges like Harvard, Princeton, and Yale, Brown, these top flight colleges, they all utilized, they was into slavery some kind of way that got these colleges started. So now Harvard is supposed to be putting forth $100 million. You follow what I'm saying? To try to exonerate themselves for, their participation in the slave trade and having slaves, right? Because they've been dissecting Israelite slaves, bodies that worked at these colleges that they utilized to do the slave labor. And when they died or when they killed them, you understand what I'm saying? From sodomizing them or something else, you understand, probably was going on. You follow what I'm saying? Because they talked about this 17-year-old Israelite, so-called African slave they had. He supposedly committed suicide. Supposedly, I'm saying supposedly, because with these people, you don't know. You don't know if they killed him and then experimenting on him, because they did experiment on his body. They used his body just like that Lat, that sister. You understand that they've been using, we talked about it in the past. Many of you know, if not all of you, right? I can't think of her first name, but last name is Lat. They used her cancer cells. They done made billions of dollars off using her cancer cells for experimentation. And like I said before, her family ain't got a copper, haven't got a penny of that money. So, her family suing them. You understand, for using her cells and whatnot, experimenting on her body. Well, they've been doing that for a long time. And if you watch this Democracy Now! On the 28th of last month, they're going to talk about that. Okay? And they also talk about the wobblies. Okay, the wobblies, which is, again, they're talking about back there during the Depression period, when so many people were out of work, impoverished, Caucasians and whatnot, and these workers, and how they banded together, and you had these different groups, the AFL, and then you had the CIO. They since combined, but back then they were separate, right? And then you had these brothers, you understand, Israelites, so-called blacks, you follow me, who were they had a workers group that was hooked up with the communists, per se. You understand what I'm saying? they were all trying to get better working conditions and whatnot, back there in the early part of the 20th century, right? So you need to watch it. It's interesting, okay? Very interesting. And, you can see just how they've been treating us. I mean, but again, as far as Israel's concerned, that's the curse. But now you got, and have had many Europeans, descendants of Japheth, right? Caucasians, right? So-called white folks who were in trouble back then, but they were building up America then. You follow what I'm saying? Over a little over 100 years ago. But now, see, you got plenty of these Caucasians, right? So-called white folks, you understand what I'm saying? In the same boat with us. And they in trouble. But again, the illuminated Edomite always tries to keep diversity going, keeping us pointing fingers at one another. You understand what I mean? Blaming one another for their problems. You see what I'm saying? And as I said before, if a person, I don't care what their nationality is, if they want to know where their problems rest and why they've got a problem and who causes their problem, they should find the nearest mirror. Now, you follow me? Okay, so again, newspaper articles. Chicago Sun-Times, April the 10th. Yellen calls for crypto regulation to reduce risks. Okay? See that? See, they're trying to get people's minds around. Yes, they're claiming they're going to bring in this crypto. That's the plan, right? But they're trying to get it to, get people's minds, you understand, where they're ingratiated, about this crypto, where they hot for this crypto. Okay? In crypto, you don't have nothing. I mean, literally, you don't have anything tangible. Not only that, they know everything. They bring this crypto in, right? Everybody will be using crypto. Won't be no more paper, right? They're going to know every transaction you make. And that's what they want. Plus, again, you can come up with crypto into infinitum, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to save them plenty of money, right? Because they don't have to have anything printed. They don't have to worry about counterfeiting. You follow what I'm saying? Even the metals, the minting of the metals. The earth-based metals to make these coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. You know what I mean? They don't have to do that anymore. So that's why they want to bring in the crypto. That's why they, as I said, I'm pretty sure last session, that's why they've done their best to make sure everybody got a smartphone. Okay? See what I'm saying? All right. Also, and let me just read a little bit here about this. Yellen calls for crypto regulation to reduce risk. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says more government regulation is needed to police the proliferation of cryptocurrency and ward off fraudulent or illicit transactions. You see? So I guess you do have some fraudulent, you understand, crypto that can be fraudulently created. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's really pitiful, right? Illicit transactions and fraudulent, right? So that's a form of counterfeiting, right? So one potential upside is that users would get documentation of their crypto dealings for use in filing their taxes. So you still gonna have to pay taxes, right? Okay. All right. Also, U.S. electric vehicle tax credits ending for new Toyota buyers. So they used to give you, if you got a electric vehicle from Toyota, evidently, right, to whatever degree electric vehicle half and half or total electric, you got a tax credit. Well, that's going by the wayside. So Toyota customers soon won't be able to get U.S. federal tax credits for buying electric or hybrid vehicles. So the automaker expects that sometime before the end of June, it will reach a 200,000 vehicle cap on the credits. Okay, after that, the credits will be phased out over the next year. Okay, now say the lack of credits is problematic for automakers shifting from petroleum-powered vehicles to batteries in the effort to reduce emissions, meet government fuel economy standards, and fight climate change. Nissan is about 30,000 vehicles away from reaching the cap, and others will follow. Others will follow as more EVs are introduced. Electric vehicles. That's where this is headed. Okay. Chicago Sun-Times, April the 10th. And again, this is 2022. What's impact of Biden's extension of student loan freeze through August? Question mark. What's the impact? The impact is you just getting it pushed back. You still gonna owe the money. If you out there with student debt, you still gotta pay it. It's not being exonerated, right? It's not being lifted out, or you relieved of it. They just putting a halt. You don't have to pay that during this period. But at some point they're gonna okay, you gotta start paying. Okay, simple as that. Because they're not gonna do away with that student debt. That's a debt yoke that they keep the people, yoked. Again, it's through debt that Esau, gets control. That's why they're doing this Ukrainian thing with Russia, right? Because they want Russia to have to put money for, to expend finances, right? To go in on the Ukraine, to stop the onslaught of NATO, basically the United States, right? To put an end to these biolabs in the Ukraine. We talked about that last session. And this is a fact. This is what, Russia like, hey, they putting a stop to these biolabs, attacking them with all kind of different pathogens and trying to also, employ all of these GMOs, into Russian food source, right, which is the Ukraine. It's supposed to be like the breadbasket for Russia and for many other countries. Because, again, you understand, Jacob, we was talking here, Jacob me out doubting myself here a few weeks ago, Jacob was telling me how he had seen, and then it's been substantiated. I saw this on, some things we were looking at where, here in America, you've had these food warehouses mysteriously burn up. Okay? And you've had some of these trains that convey the food, something that happened to them. You understand? They systematically, the Illuminated Edomite, the Skull and Bone Boys are systematically causing food shortages and wanting to blame, tell the people, oh, this is what's causing what's happening in the Ukraine. But that's them. You follow what I'm saying? And again, it causes prices to excel. Again, they want to impoverish the people, bring the people into economic impoverishment. Because when the people are in debt, when the people can't get this, and they're impoverished, they're more, quite naturally, people act out to an extent. But again, they can control them, manipulate them better. See, because people get hungry, they submit. You follow what I'm saying? Do whatever you tell them to do. There you go, because they run, generally, they don't know anything about their creator, YHWH, so they run to man, right? And again, like I've said last session, I've said in the past, was it John Perkins? I couldn't remember his name in the session last session, but I mentioned it in the Q&A. John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. That's what they want to do, and that's what they have been doing with these nations. Get them in debt. That's what the wars are for. You understand what I'm saying? They have a war, and then they get these nations into war, get them to divide and conquer. And they get these nations into war, right? And then the nations, again, they got to come to Esau, the bankers, to get, you understand what I'm saying? to get backed economically, financially. And then that puts them into the Edomite, the Jews' debt, the bankers' debt. And once they get you under debt, they got control of you. Simple as that. That's Esau's plan, right? So again, the student debt is horrible. Say the Biden administration on Wednesday announced that federal student loan payments will remain paused through August 31st, extending a freeze that began in 2020 but was set to end after this month. The action is meant to help millions of borrowers regain financial footing before they're back on the hook for payments. You hear that? Before they back on the hook for payments. Okay, they ain't stopping it. They just, you know what I mean? They're not alleviating it. They just stopping it for a moment. But you understand, at some point, it's going to be exacted again. Hey, come up with that money. See, now they claim they're giving them a chance to get economic footing. But again, these jobs ain't paying no money. And now, you understand, higher prices across the board, right? Because I saw this morning, you understand, where they said meat packers is charging, they say the meat packers have said steak going to continually go up. Steak. It's going to get higher and higher. Okay? I mean, because it's up, you understand. Brother just told me here the other week, he said, Yoda, and he live in Indiana. He like Yoda. He said, me and my wife, we got a standing rib roast. Now, for those of you who don't know about a standing rib roast, that's the ribeye steak. That's where they cut ribeye steaks from, the standing rib roast. Okay, that's the choice piece. That's the choice piece of meat. All right, very tasty. And so he said, I got a standing rib roast. It was $82 and some change. He said, usually it's around 60. You know, it's about a $20 hike. You follow me? They're gonna continue to go up for that, for this nice, the real nicest pieces cut. And period, you know, beef period. Ground chuck, ground beef, it's gone up. You follow what I'm saying? Everything gonna keep going up because the dollar is collapsing. Now, the Illuminated Edomite and the Skull and Bone Boys, they gonna tell you what? It's Russia, it's Putin. Okay? It's the Ukrainian situation. You understand that they caused, that the United States has caused. See, but that's the spin around on the propaganda. They're gonna tell you it's Russia, it's Putin. See, and again, they keep saying Putin because they want the Russians to rise up and do regime change, just like they got, you understand, did to that Imran Khan in Pakistan, right? Like they did to Morales down there in Bolivia, right? Like they did to Lula and then Rusalem, what's that sister's name, in Brazil, and they put Bolsonaro in there. That's what they do, regime change, like they did to Gaddafi, right? And put their puppet in Libya, and it's got 2 or 3 puppets over. Libya been a mess ever since they got rid of Gaddafi. You follow me? Like they was trying to do with Bashir Assad in Syria, but it didn't happen. Okay, regime change. That's what Esau did. Like I said, you understand, Mossadegh back in '53 in Iran, right? Allende in '73 in Chile, Lumumba, right? In 60, 61 over there in the Congo. That's what they do. See, regime changes. You understand? And put their puppets in there. You understand? In Venezuela, they tried to, you understand, get rid of Hugo Chavez back there around 2000, and it didn't work out. He got back in power. You understand what I mean? And he talked about it. You follow what I'm saying? Then when they finally, you know, gave him cancer, and that's what Hugo Chavez said. You understand? He said, they gave me the cancer. And then so he died, and Maduro got in there. Well, they didn't want Maduro. Because Maduro, you understand, he likes Chavez and even more so. Right? And so they've been trying to unseat Maduro, haven't been able to do it. So they upset about that. So they use the dollar, weaponize the dollar, right? Sanctions. So now these countries, okay, we're going to put ourselves in a position where you can't hurt us with the dollar. So like I said, you got 2 other big bullies on the block. You understand? Russia and China. So Russia and China, these nations going over to Russia and China. Russia and China's what? Now the Saudis, you understand? The Saudis done hooked up with China. They get ready to go into the UN if they haven't already done it. And more likely than not, just like Russia is talking about backing the ruble would go, China gonna do the same thing. They're gonna be in concert. They all gonna have their currency. You know, each one gonna have their currency, but they're gonna back it so much with gold. It might not be backed 100%, but if they back their currency 30% with gold, that's better than the dollar. Dollar ain't backed by nothing but lies, huh? You understand? And guns. That's it. And I say lies, you know, I have said, you know, guns and a promise, but we know these people don't keep no promises, right? Isn't that what Raoul Peck said, you understand, and exterminate all the brute? They made, what, 80 different treaties with the Native American and the people of color over here? Broke every one of them. Just like Trump got in and broke the agreement with the Persians, with the Iranians. You can't have no faith in what, you know, any kind of promises this country make, because again, they're being controlled by the Illuminated Edomite. Again, this is Dr. Frankenstein's monster, the United States of America, which is talked about, right? Over in Zechariah, chapter 5, the land of Shinar, the land of commercialism, right? You follow me? Daughter of Babylon, Yeshaya chapter 47. You remember chapter 50, 51. Daughter of Babylon. See? United States of America. This whole country ain't nothing but one big corporation. And we played that for all of you out there through the years, right? We played it, I don't know, 4 or 5 different times. Where that woman is running down about America, how it's predicated on maritime law, right? We all commodities, all of us. Born here, we commodities. You follow what I'm saying? See, so, you know, I tell you, now just this little bit here, because I got this circle, it said who is eligible for this loan freeze, right? They say the moratorium applies to most federal student loan programs, including the direct loan program, which issues subsidized and unsubsidized student loans. It does not apply to private loans issued by banks or schools. The latest federal data show that more than 43 million Americans have student loans amounting to a combined $1.6 trillion. Okay? And while I'm talking about trillions of dollars, the Federal Reserve, $9 trillion in the hole. That's what's on their balance sheet. $9 trillion and counting. Okay? That's the Federal Reserve. And so now they're raising interest rates. You follow me? A quarter here, a quarter, because they're supposed to raise them today. I think they talk about they probably going to raise them 0.25% every month for the next few months. You follow what I'm saying? And so now, you know what I mean? It's because of inflation. They fight inflation, and they can't really do nothing with it. Because the inflation, they have been telling people it was 7.5. Now I think they're telling people it's 8.5, when it's really like about 17 to 18% inflation. That's what's actually going on. When you go to the gas pump, I know you can see it. This morning, I went out, you understand, gas up Yada's car, and you understand what I mean? And the gas stations I passed, okay, was $4.69 a gallon, $4.47 a gallon. You follow me? You understand what I'm saying? I think the cheapest one I saw other than where I went was $4.37 a gallon. You follow me? See? So, you know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you, those 40s and 50s and 70 cents, they add up. See? And then when you go to the grocery market and food is up, you understand, 20, 30%. Right? And you spend it where you used to spend $2, now you spend it $4 or $3.50. That adds up. See, especially when you're on fixed income. Follow me? Or you're on low income. You understand? It's very noticeable. See, and so your money's not going as far as it used to go because the dollar is collapsing. They try to cover it up with the pandemic. Now they come behind that with the Ukrainian situation, trying to, mesmerize people. Again, mouse in the maze. Hit you with all kind of stuff so that you just go, what? You know what I mean? You go catatonic. You just drop down and, drop your head, just try to close yourself out. That's why they got all the marijuana and the heroin and the fentanyl. You understand what I mean? The cocaine. You follow me? All the drugs, the codeine cough syrup, the Oxycontin, oxycodone. You got all the drugs out here. Keep them high. Get them high. Like I said, we got the dope house right across the street, catty corner from where we live. They be going in there all day long. You know what I mean? All day long. Most of them is got bad health problems. I see them. Barely walk, on canes. Some of them bent over, can't even raise up. But they're going to get their hit. Because they got, on drugs. See, and they hear this, what I'm saying, they can't, you understand? They can't understand no parts of what I'm saying. That's why they legalize marijuana. You understand what I'm saying? Keep them high. Okay? See, keep them high. You can't understand none of this, what I'm saying. You follow? See? Because that drug, the drugs, you understand, make you impotent. I mean, in the sense of drive. You don't have any inner drive. Because your whole thing is getting that drug every day. Every day. That's your whole mindset. See, and once you get it, and once you take it, use it, smoke it, snort it, shoot it. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? Then you just drink it. You just sedate it. You're in the dream world, and that's where they want to keep you. But you being in that sedated state does not change anything. You understand? Just destroying your health systematically, right? Got you, like an inanimate object. There's all this going on around you, but you totally desensitized to it. If you can even see it, you don't even really understand. Like I said, they hear what I'm saying. They can't make, heads or tails out of what I'm saying. Like I said, you got people who in this book and can't hear it. Been in it for years and can't hear what y'all's bringing out of y'all righteousness. Because they got something in their heart. Again, 42:17 Yeshua, where it's blocking them, turning them back. Whatever they got in their heart that they got before Yah, ahead of Yah, in the place of Yah, right? Idolatries. See? Chicago Sun-Times, April the 10th. Zoos hide birds as avian flu spreads in North America. Did you hear that? I'll read that again. Zoos hide birds as avian flu spreads in North America. Okay? Says zoos across North America are moving their birds indoors and away from people and wildlife as they try to protect them from the highly contagious, potentially deadly avian influenza. Okay? Now, again, you understand where this coming from? That's Esau. That's, you know what I mean? That's the powers that be shooting these birds up, experiment, and again, knocking these. That's why these chickens and these turkeys that people be eating that they shouldn't be eating because they're unclean, because they're hybrids anyway, right? And carrying all this, and many of these kind of birds is dying. But you still got people out here eating chicken and turkey. You know? Oh, boy. And duck. You know what I'm saying? Because I had some people here call here a few weeks ago asked me, was duck okay? I'm like, no. Webbed feet. Duck ain't cool. They like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Chicago Tribune, April 11th, 2022, returned to a hard life on the streets. More baby boomers ending up homeless amid soaring rents. Okay? Retiring to a hard life on the streets. More baby boomers ending up homeless amid soaring rents. Now, your baby boomers, the ones born after World War II, 1945. Okay? Now, here's one here. They say, Carla Finocchio, 55, tears up as she talks about being homeless earlier this year in Phoenix. Remember what I said a little while ago about you got many of these Caucasians, right? Descendants out of Yeffa, they in the same boat with us now. Okay? Now, you follow me? Said Carla Finocchio's slide into homelessness began when she split with her partner of 18 years and temporarily moved in with her cousin. She planned to use her $800 a month disability check to get an apartment after back surgery, but she soon was sleeping in her old pickup protected by her German Shepherd, mixed Scrappy, unable to afford housing in Phoenix. Now, this is in Phoenix, Arizona. All right? Where median monthly rents soared 33% during the coronavirus pandemic to over $1,220 for a one-bedroom, according to apartment list. So you understand what I mean? one bedroom apartment, decent apartment, more like maybe ain't that decent, in Phoenix, Arizona, $1,220 a month. Okay? Because I don't know if I said it last session, I think I did. Brother called here the other month, right? And he was telling me, he said, yeah, we was talking. He lives in California, in San Bernardino. And he told me when he first went out to California in '88, he said one bedroom apartment, nice bedroom apartment, was like $445, $50 a month. Now he told me, I forget, it's up around 2,000. So it's crazy. It's way up there. I forget the total. I know I mentioned the last session, so y'all, all of you saw the last session. I probably had to, the figure what you got to pay now, but it's up there. I think it's around 2,000 a month. Okay, he said it's way up there for one bedroom apartment. And he might have said 2 bedroom. Okay, but it's high. High. All right, real high. So, and I got this here. So let me read this. It says, this Dr. Margot Kushel, a physician who directs the Center for Vulnerable Populations at the University of California, San Francisco, said her research in Oakland on how homelessness affects health has shown nearly half of the tens of thousands of older homeless people in the country are on the streets for the first time. A lot of the working poor are destined to retire onto the streets. You hear that? That's especially true of younger baby boomers now in their late 50s to late 60s who don't have pensions or 401k accounts. And again, Esau's attacking these accounts because they're predicated on stocks. You follow me? And they're attacking these accounts. The stocks is going down. Like I said, I was listening to Peter Schiff here a few nights ago. He's running all that down again. And you can go on Peter Schiff, he's running that down. He said these stocks, you understand, people, these pension funds and 401ks, they predicated in stocks. Them stocks is going down. Eventually they collapsing. And like he said, the stocks that the powers that be, put the people in, that ain't the stocks they in. Those stocks getting attacked. Okay, the top stocks, which is your war industry stocks. Poor folks don't have any of that stock. Okay, because they can't afford it. You follow me? One share might be $5,000 or more of that top flight war industry stock that's making the money. You follow me? Okay, he says about half of both women and men ages 55 to 66 have no retirement savings, according to the census. Born between 1946 and 1964, baby boomers now number over 70 million. All right. Donald Whitehead Jr., executive director of the Washington-based advocacy group National Coalition for the Homeless, said Black, Latino, and indigenous people who came of age in the 1980s amid recession and high unemployment rates are disproportionately represented among the homeless. You hear that? Israel, so-called blacks, Latinos, a lot of them is Israel, right? And indigenous people. Maybe some of them might possibly, Israel. But again, you understand? Those are the three, groups. You understand what I'm saying? So-called blacks, Latino, and indigenous make up most of the homeless people. Okay, disproportionately. Many nearing retirement never got well-paying jobs and didn't buy homes because of discriminatory real estate practices. Okay, sound like Israel to me, huh? So many of us didn't put money into retirement programs thinking that Social Security was going to take care of us, said Rudy Solis, the 63 operations director for Justice Center, which offers meals, showers, a mail drop, and other services to the aged homeless in Phoenix. That's Phoenix, Arizona, right? Says the average monthly Social Security retirement payment as of December was $1,658. That's the average. Many older homeless people have much smaller checks because they work fewer years or earn less than others. People 65 and over with limited resources and who didn't work enough to earn retirement benefits may be eligible for supplemental security income of $841 a month. Okay, Nestor Castro, 67, was luckier than many who lose permanent homes. Castro was in his late 50s living in New York. It is big money in New York, right? When his mother died and he was hospitalized with bleeding ulcers, losing their apartment. He initially stayed with his sister in Boston, then for more than 3 years at a YMCA in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Just before last Xmas, Castro got a permanent subsidized apartment through Hearth Incorporated, a Boston nonprofit dedicated to ending homelessness among older adults. Residents pay 30% of their income to stay in one if Hearth's, well, I know that meant to be they got if, to stay in one of Hearth's 228 units. Okay, so they pay 30%, so that's a deal, right, of what they make, right, what they get every month. He also volunteers at a food pantry and a nonprofit that assists people with housing. Housing is a big problem around here because they are building luxury apartments that no one can afford, he said. A place down the street is $3,068 a month for a studio. Okay? A studio. Over $3,000 a month. Now, so what's one bedroom? 4,000? Now that's what's going on. Okay. Also, the Israelis, the Edomites, killed 2 Palestinians as tensions ramp up. Okay, we were talking about that a little while ago, right? I mean, this is ongoing. This has been going on since 1948. Okay, it's been going on for 74 years in the land. See, so again, when I say that, you go over there to Yeshaya chapter 6, and when Yah, said to Yeshaya, leave these people's eyes open, but don't let them see, make their ears heavy where they can't hear and their heart fat where they can't understand, right? Lest they see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand in their heart, and convert. And Yeshaya said, how long you going, how long you going to have us like that, yeah? And what did Yah say? Till men have been removed far away. That's one condition. And the other condition was what? And a great forsaking in the midst of the land of Israel. In other words, right? Well, again, you understand the Edomites, you understand the Jews, the Edomites, right? You understand? Been putting this on the Israelites, the so-called Palestinians, and other Israelites over there, but definitely the Palestinians, who were Israel, descended out of them 6.5 tribes of Israel, right? Like I said earlier, became known as Palestinians in 135 CE AD when the Romans started calling the land Palestina again. Right? This has been getting worse and worse and worse. The Edomites attacking the so-called Palestinians who really Israel over the last 74 years since 1948. And it's gotten worse every year. It's gotten worse on to where you see it now. Right? Okay, that's what's going on. Yeah, I mean, they killing, and as I read in Hosea 9:13, delivering their children, the so-called Palestinians, descendants out of the 10 tribes, Israel, Ephraim, whatnot, right? But definitely out of them 6.5 tribes that escaped out of the hands of the kings of Assyria, back there in 721 BCE, came back in on their land, but never returned to Yah. Again, 2 Chronicles chapter 30. Chapter 34, 100 years difference between those 2 chapters, right? But again, Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 7, they never came back to Yah. See, that's why they still catching, okay? And only Yah can save. They're gonna have to turn away from that's worshiping that stone in the Kaaba, and that Elas and the Dome Rock stuff. They gotta let that garbage go. Okay? That's what it is. Idolatries. Right? If they're into Christianity, you gotta let that garbage go. Idolatries. Like I said earlier, I mean, you would think you know, and I know different ones have heard this, and I'll say it again. What were your forefathers worshiping before 622 CE AD? Because Islam didn't exist. And from what I understand, and I've said it again, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again, right? They were worshiping the black stone, which is supposed to be one of the stones Abraham used to build an altar to Yah. And they have been worshiping that black stone for 1,300 years prior to the advent, inception of Islam, 622 CE AD. So you go 1,300 years back before 622, that puts you back to 700 BCE, 600 BCE, right? And what did y'all say? You understand? In Yeshaya, right? In Jeremiah, right? In Ezekiel, right? Your fathers worshiping idols of wood and stone, wood and stone. You follow me? Like I said, what, you know, all out there in Christianity, what was your fathers worshiping before 270 CE AD, the advent of Catholicism? And like I said, if you want to go along with the lie of the story of Christianity, the myth, and say that, you know, it came on scene in the 1st century CE AD, all right, well, what was your forefathers worshiping prior to that? Now, because Christianity didn't exist, okay? And again, Deuteronomy chapter 32, didn't Yah through Moshe, didn't he tell the children of Israel before he died in Deuteronomy chapter 32 that their offspring at some point was going to go away from Yah and start worshiping new idols, newly raised up, not Yah, but devils, new stuff. And again, that was 1400 BCE, about 800 years prior to the advent, of Babylon, the first dominion of man. Daniel chapter 2, Daniel chapter 7. Well, it ain't mentioned in 7, but you know, because they start out with the second dominion of man, Persia there, and then deal with, the third dominion, the Greek dominion. But in Daniel chapter 2, they tell you about all 4 dominions. They're going to call them kingdom, but we know they're dominions of man. And again, the 4th dominion is the diverse dominion. That's why you got a lot of dominions now. You got people who got dominion, you know what I'm saying? See, but because the illuminated Edomites dominion is eroding, is cracking up and crumbling, as are the dominions of these other peoples. You understand what I'm saying? Because Yah is setting up his dominion, the everlasting dominion, that's going to destroy all of those dominions that are in existence today. And the ones that, are predicated on this 4th dominion, because you got a little bit of the 1st dominion, 2nd dominion, and 3rd dominion in this 4th dominion. You got so much of that out of those 3 previous dominions that's in this 4th dominion, because it's a diversified dominion. Okay. Chicago Tribune, April the 12th, 2022. Residents and a motorist wade through flooded streets Monday after heavy rains brought about by a tropical depression in Aboyo Leyte province, Philippines. This is in the Philippines. Heavy rains caused by the storm killed at least 25 people in the central and southern Philippines, mostly due to landslides. At least 30,000 families have been displaced. Right? There they are. Okay? Also, the Edomites, the Jews shooting. Israeli Edomite forces shot and killed a Palestinian man near Bethlehem in the occupied West Bank. I mean, they say in the latest in a growing wave of violence that has erupted during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. Again, they're going to print it always the way they want to print it, but they kill brothers and sisters over there every day. Every day. And basically this goes on wherever Israel is, because Yah is trying to get Israel's attention wherever Israel is, right? And whoever Israel think they are. Okay, Chicago Tribune, April 12, 2022. Food prices soar to records on Ukraine war disruptions. See what I'm saying? They're going to blame it on Ukraine. But really what we're watching is the destruction of the dollar. Okay, because the dollar, they just printing, and every time they print, it's inflating the dollar, right? The dollar has less buying power than it did before they put out the last batch of counterfeit money. It's all counterfeit. You follow what I'm saying? So prices for food commodities like grains and vegetable oils reached their highest levels ever last month, largely because of, see, you're gonna bring it on Russia. The Russia's war in the Ukraine. Scapegoat. But that's nonsense. Okay, it said, and the massive supply disruptions it is causing. Well, that is causing disruption with lots of different foodstuffs, grains and sunflower oil and certain things, right? Because a lot of that stuff's coming from the Ukraine, right? But again, make no mistake about it. That's the United States, the head of NATO, that's causing this, encroaching on Russian territory. Like I said, you understand, all of you out there that, you got a house or you got an apartment. And if, some alien force that somebody you didn't know came and sat on your front line, you got a house, sit on your front line and pitched a tent, you'd kind of be upset about it, wouldn't you? And those of you who got an apartment, right, you live in an apartment, if somebody came and, gonna sit in your living room or sit right outside your door, you'd be upset about that, wouldn't you? Okay, well, that's what the United States has been doing to Russia. Also, farms face grisly questions as deadly bird flu cases spread. All right, and again, this is out of Omaha, Nebraska. The spread of a bird flu that is deadly to poultry raises the grisly question of how farms manage to quickly kill and dispose of millions of chickens and turkeys. All right? You hear that? Okay, I'll read that again. The spread of a bird flu that is deadly to poultry raises the grisly question of how farms manage to quickly kill and dispose of millions of chickens and turkeys that you shouldn't be eating anyway because they scavengers, they hybrids, they ugly. Right? It's a chore that farms across the country are increasingly facing as the number of poultry killed in the past 2 months has climbed to more than 24 million. You hear that? With outbreaks reported nearly every day, some farms have had to kill more than 5 million chickens at a single site with a goal of destroying the birds within 24 hours to limit the spread of the disease and prevent animals from suffering. Yeah, but that's how a lot of these people is getting these different pathogens in their body, eating this garbage, this unclean garbage, hybrids that they shouldn't be eating in the first place. Right? And again, more than likely, Esau's shooting this stuff up in them, feeding them garbage, and a lot of them is dead. Simple as that, because they can't hold it. You know what I mean? They can't, their body. But after he feed it to them or shoot them up with it for so long, they develop some that's immune. That got this stuff in them, got all this pathogens in them, but it won't kill them. And so many of them is out here now. They all not dying. See, and then how many of them is dying, and Esau, or and the powers that be cut them up anyway, and package them up and send them out here to the public. Okay. Chicago Tribune, April the 13th. Inflation up 8.5% in past year, highest since 1981. And again, that's a lie. They say 8.5%. Didn't I just mention that a minute ago? They say 8.5%, but it's really like 17 to 20. Okay. Now, that's where inflation really is. Okay. Now, just to show you how, waiving of ethanol rule could lower gas prices. See, because again, these gas prices are so high, but waiving the ethanol rule not going. You understand what I mean? See, President Joe Biden visited Corn Ridge, Iowa on Tuesday to announce he'll suspend a federal rule preventing the sale of higher ethanol blend gasoline this summer, as his administration tries to tap down prices at the pump that have spiked during Russia's war with Ukraine. See, blame everything on Russia. You understand? That's the game, the scapegoat. Just like they blamed everything on the pandemic, and that's how they operate. Yeah, you understand? Distraction, misdirection. Don't really want you to see the real deal, what's really going on. Okay? Say most gasoline sold in the U.S. is blended with 10% ethanol. The Environmental Protection Agency will issue an emergency waiver to allow widespread sale of 15% ethanol blend that is usually prohibited between June 1st and September 15th because of concerns that it adds to smog and high temperatures. You follow me? Now they're gonna create more of a pollution problem to try to stem the economic collapse. See? Now, when I say that, all of you knowledgeable in the word of Yah, Yeshaya chapter 47. What does it say in that chapter? Talk about the fall of the daughter of Babylon. What does it say? You shall not know from whence it rises, because it's going to come from everywhere. So isn't that what? They've only been using 10% ethanol, in the gas mixture, because they know how it creates more and more pollution. But now, you understand, to try to stem the cost, right? Bring the cost down. They're going to say you can add another 15% instead of 10, which is going to cause more pollution. You shall not know from whence it rises. One-time giant nears the end. Kmart once had more than 2,000 retail stores in the U.S. Now it's down to a handful. Again, Yeshaya chapter 47, verse 15, right? Thy merchants that have been with thee from thy youth, from the beginning of this United States of America, gonna wander everyone to its quarter, none gonna save thee. Right? And we've bore witness to this over the last 50 years. Going back to 1970. The word of Yah coming to pass. Like I say, prophecy being fulfilled all the time, but who understands prophecy? You follow me? Chicago Tribune, April the 14th. Despite deadline, hundreds of cops still not vaccinated. That's here in Chicago. Because a lot of these police, a lot of them retired last year. And this year too. Soon as the police here in Chicago, the majority of them, soon as they reach that 20 years and age, I think it's 55, and 20 years on the job, they gone. They gone. They're like, hey, give me my pension. And then they go try to get them, a lot of them, you understand, get with a smaller police force in the suburbs outside of Chicago, or they'll move out from Chicago, you know what I mean, go someplace else and get a law enforcement job and still pull their pension from here. All right? Because they refuse to take the vaccine. Plus the fact that, you understand, see, you got one of us in every top position, and I've said that before. You got an Israelite that's president of Crook County is what I call it. Crook County. It's called Cook County, but I call it Crook County, right? And that's one of us. She's a woman. At least that's what she's supposed to be, one of us, right? Name is Pretwinkle. Then you got one of us that's the mayor, Lightfoot, right? Lesbian. You understand what I'm saying? Homosexual, right? Lesbian. Then you got one of us that's the state's attorney. All women. Kim Fox, and they want to get her out bad too. Okay? And so the whole thing is, disarray. You follow me? Under us, right? You know what I mean? Like I say, put one of us in there and blame it all of the collapse on us, right? And this is the first time ever it's been this way, where you got 3 females in the 3 top spots, you understand, in this city, in this county. You follow me? And they all Israelites. Now, see. Boy, I tell you, man. They all under the curse. Okay? Chicago Sun-Times, April the 14th. Now, this is letters to the editor. War in Ukraine will hurt the world economy. Okay? And somebody wrote this in. This is opinion. This is a guy, he writes in a lot. His last name is Manuel. He could be an Edomite. He's in High Park. And he writes a lot. But check this out. Said if it says if Schadenfreude is your thing, you may welcome the fact that while we rage at high gas prices and erroneously blame President Joe Biden for them, gas prices in Europe are much more exorbitant. Europeans are paying up to 34% more for gas than we are, according to the World Petrol Prices.com. The World Petrol Prices.com. It says per gallon, Austrians are paying $7.12. In France, it's $7.30. Italy, $7.59. And in England, $8.10. So they're paying significantly more than what they're paying here in America. But nevertheless, Americans paying a lot more than what they were, right? But you probably can have these prices before long here in America. It says current pump prices can be blamed on OPEC cutbacks on oil production. And again, the Saudis don't have no oil to pump. They got stored oil, right? And probably some of those other countries, their oil probably is just about exhausted too. That's why they cut back, or they don't have any to pump. You see what I'm saying? Or they trying to make it last as long as they can. Is how they make their money, right? And also, possibly like the Saudis, you know, these other different oil countries, they don't want the dollar. Okay, so they might be cutting back. We don't want all these dollars. You understand what I mean? So they cut back, and they gonna start selling. You understand? They don't have to sell to Russia because Russia got its own oil, but they sell to China and Japan. But again, Japan is controlled by the Illuminati might here. You understand what I'm saying? So they might not. You understand? You might have to take the dollar or the yen, and the yen is collapsing like the dollar, now more likely worse, right? So again, they might not want to get stuck with a lot of bum paper, so they'll sell to China to get the yuan, because more likely than not, I haven't seen anything, but I have no doubt if Russia's, I just saw it this morning, Russia is having discussion talking about they're gonna back the ruble with so much gold. China gonna do the same thing with the yuan, the renminbi. They're gonna back theirs with so much gold. Probably it'll be on par. If Russia back the ruble with 30% gold or 40% gold, China gonna probably do the same thing with the renminbi, the yuan. You understand what I mean? They're gonna be on par. Okay? And this is gonna really put a hurt on America. You understand? And Europe over in Western Europe. Okay? Current pump prices can be blamed on OPEC cutbacks on oil production and flawed household budgeting that assume market prices for fuel would never rise to where they are now, much less higher. See, again, you understand? See, he gonna say mismanaging. You understand what I mean? But you know, a lot of these people with these SUVs, like I said in the past, you're gonna see a lot of them SUVs parked over, parked in the driveway, parked on the street without moving. I got one over here across the street here. He hardly ever drives the one he got. He got a big one. Okay, you follow me? And he just had to take it in. I know more than likely he had some work done on. That's why I ain't seen it. You understand? But I know that bad boy probably doesn't get no more about 7-8 miles a gallon. Okay. Now, if it gets that, all right. Chicago Sun-Times, April the 14th. Subway suspect calls cops to come and get him. Summons officers to Manhattan McDonald's. Faces terror charge. Yeah, I know y'all heard about the Israelite guy. You understand? The suspect, Frank R.J., you know, like Frank James, the, you know, Jesse James' brother, right? You got the same Frank James, right? 62 is led to a vehicle in New York after they caught him for committing a terrorist act on the subway in New York. You know, you understand what I mean? Didn't make any sense at all. Totally, you know, nut. Okay, that's all I can say about it. Chicago Tribune, April the 14th. Guilt runs deep for draft dodgers. Fight or flee. For some Ukrainians, it's a real dilemma. You understand? They talking about draft dodgers. You understand? Look at that. Okay? If you got an ounce of sense, you know you ain't going to beat the Russians. Okay? But like I said, a lot of the Ukrainians, they Edomites. They ain't going to tell you that. Okay? But I saw that on RT. They done some things about it. A lot of them Ukrainians, they Edomites. They Jews. Just like Zelensky, the president. Okay? And they over there, you understand, fighting against the Russians. A lot of them has got these Nazi groups. Literally, that's what they got all kind of little, you know, patches SS patches on their uniforms, you know, with the 2 lightning bolts, like the SS Nazis, and they got names, they got symbols like old Nazi stuff. They ain't nothing but Nazis. You understand what I mean? Because again, it was the Edomites that created that whole Nazi thing in the first place. That's what Lavrov said. I'm going to get to that. You understand? The Edomites come out against it and say, oh, that's horrible. But that's the reality of it. I just talked about this in the past. If you really, you understand, and understand how World War I came about and World War II, you follow me? Again, because the whole reason for World War I, the illuminated Edomite created World War I so that they could get control of the Holy Land. And I done talked about that in the past. That's why you had the Balfour Declaration in 1970. Which is, again, what, 21 years, 20 to 21 years after they saw us starting to awaken in 1896. You follow me? Again, the 1 chapter by you. Those who eat of thy bread, those who took you to the border, have laid a wound up under you. Them Edomites in the land ain't nothing but dupes. Them Jews in the land ain't nothing but dupes. You follow me? Of the illuminated Edomite. Put them there to fill up this void of no Israel in the land. When they saw us starting to wake to the fact that we was Israel back then in 1896. Right? Again, Chicago, this is again same article, or different article, but same paper. April 14th, Chicago Tribune says Texas tornadoes. They show here where they had some real, hard tornadoes in Texas. 23 people injured. This was like 50 miles north of Austin. And this one home, this woman is out here. Her name is Michelle Light. And she said there's not much left. Buildings really reduced to rubble. It's pretty devastating. I'll show it to you. There she is. You can make her out there. You see her? That's what's left of her house. Okay. Also, again, the disaster in the Philippines, which I read to you a little earlier. See, and this is all causing the hurricanes, the tornadoes, right? That's you remember chapter 23 and chapter 30, right? The whirlwind is not going to stop. They're going to be continual. They cease for a minute and then here they come. They cease for a minute, then here they come. Right? That's what's been happening, right? Man, about what, the last 18 years? 17, 18 years? About 18 years since 2004. Like I said in the past, right after we sent out the flags to the monarchies in September 2004. Or is it August 2004? August, September 2004. Right? Chicago Tribune, April the 14th. Here's a cartoon. They got Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. And they got the crown prince, bin Salman of the Saudis, right, who run in Saudi Arabia, handing Kushner a bag with $2 billion on it, right? And then they got bin Salman, you understand, he got a saw with blood dripping from it inside his girdle. You understand? I'm going to show it to you, okay? You know what that represents, what bin Salman did to Khashoggi. Hacked him all, had him hacked all up, body disintegrated in acid and flushed down the toilet, right? And then they got a picture with Hunter Biden's laptop with an elephant. I'll tell you, boy, these cartoons are rough. Check that out, okay? Take a good look at it. That's Kushner and bin Salman handing him a bag of $2 billion, right? And then Hunter Biden's laptop this way, okay? Show you how they all in cahoots. They all taking money. Nothing but graft. Okay? That's what they all into. You understand? Because Kushner, Edomite, right? Trump's son-in-law. Like I said, he was having conferences when Trump was president. Kissinger was feeding him the direction every week. He's feeding Kushner the directions of what to tell Trump what to do. Okay? Again, the 1 chapter by you. Talking about the Edomites. How are thy hidden things, secret things sought up and searched out, O Esau? Right? This is all from Chicago Tribune, April the 15th. Outbreak of avian flu ravages bird population. Never seen anything like this. Hundreds found dead at Baker's Lake near Barrington. That's here in right outside Chicago. That Barrington is a suburb of northwest suburb of Chicago. Okay, and a high expensive suburb. You know what I mean? That's where Hank Paulson lived in Barrington. I don't know if he's still there, but that's where Hank Paulson, if you know who I'm talking about, Secretary of the State back there when W. Bush was president, right? Going into Obama when he was president. It was Hank Paulson that orchestrated the subprime. You understand? The banks. You know what I mean? When the banks failed, Hank Paulson orchestrated that. Well, that's where he lived, in Barrington, Illinois. Or did anyway, right? Chicago Tribune, April the 15th, Passover takes on a special meaning this year for Jews fleeing Ukraine. Biblical story hits home. ain't that late? I mean, yeah, because they had to flee. They're going to try to make them be Israel. Right? But really, is in fact, that's what they had to do. They had to flee. Trying to kill Israel, they had to flee. Right? When it was flipped back on them. You understand? And again, I'm saying, I got it confused. This is they say in Passover, how they had to flee. But really, this is an enactment of Hadassah, Esther. Okay? That they had to flee. The Edomites. Now, they trying to make them be Israel here for the Passover. But I remember I got it confused at first, because this reminds me of when they had to flee out of the land of Persia, right? When they was trying to wipe out Israel. You understand what I'm saying? So this reminds me of the book of Hadassah, Esther, right? But they going to try to make it where, they had to flee during the Passover. Well, that wasn't Esau at all. That wasn't the Jews at all. That was Israel. Okay? See, but you don't know this if you don't have any knowledge of the book and who these people really are, right? I tell you, boy. Also, booster shots for children. Pfizer said Thursday it wants to expand its COVID-19 booster shots to healthy elementary children, right? Again, they got kids. I don't use that terminology because, goats have kids, not human beings, right? Okay? But that's why they talk about these children got liver disease. They don't understand where it's coming from because they taking the shot. That's where it's coming from, right? South Africa flooding. Heavy rains and flooding have killed at least 341 people in South Africa's eastern KwaZulu-Natal province, including the city of Durban. And more rainstorms are forecast in the coming days. See, the death toll is expected to rise as scores of people, including whole families, are missing. Now, that's over in South Africa. You understand? I mean, that's Yah. You understand? Making his judgment rest to the people. Chicago Sun-Times, April the 17th. Fertilizer crunch, price surge related to war threatened world's food supplies. See, because fertilizer, a lot of that fertilizer comes from the Ukraine. And now they saying that fertilizer it's gone sky high in cost. Okay? You understand? Because it's not coming from the Ukraine now. So whatever fertilizer you follow me that's around it, they jack the price up. Whenever there's a great demand, the price goes up. See, so a lot of these farmers, and I'm pretty sure I read something like this on the last session. A lot of these farmers is catching heck because the fertilizer is going sky high. So how they gonna fertilize, their crops? You see what I'm saying? So fertilizer crunch, price surge related to war threatened world's food supplies. So again, no fertilization, no crops, no food. Okay. I tell you, this is all the hand of Yah. Again, working through the sword, because this illuminated Edomite that's pushing these, that's doing this, but it's Yah that's guiding them, directing them. You follow what I'm saying? And illuminated Edomite, again, none of the Edomites have any wisdom or understanding, right? Yah's taking now all that out of them. You follow me? They got the cup of drunkenness in their hand. Yah's taking the cup of drunkenness out of the hand of the descendants of Jerusalem. Again, shall the captive, the lawful captive be delivered? Yea. You understand what I'm saying? Back end of chapter 49, Yeshaya, right? You understand? How's it go? Back end of 49, Yeshaya, shall the lawful captive be delivered. Yeah, even the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. Isn't that what it says? I'll pick this up, right? Uh, verse 24, shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus saith Yah, even the captive of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contends with you, with thee, right? With you, and I will save thy children, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood as with sweet wine. And all flesh shall know that I, Yah, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Yaakov. Now again, Yah, not Yahuwah, not Yehovah, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not Yahweh, not Yahweh, Yah. His holy name. Ezekiel 36 verse 22. Yah doing all this for his holy name's sake. Right? Not YHWH. You follow me? But YHWH. Huh? Chicago Sun-Times, April 17th. National Urban League calls State of Black America grim. Grim, grim, bad. It's in bad shape. The state of Black America, right? Because if you associate with black, what's that? A color? Huh? If you call yourself black, you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are, what you are, right? If you heard about Yah and you using the name, but you still saying you black, you don't understand. Okay? Say the National Urban League's yearly report on the state of Black America paints a grim picture with its equality index showing black people still get only 73.9% of the American pie that white people enjoy. See, black, white, program you. You understand? That's the curse. That's why you ain't gonna never get equity. You understand what I'm saying? Till you return to Yah. Right? A compendium of average, wait a minute, let me go back. Black people have made economic and health gains, but have slipped further behind white people in education, social justice, civic engagement since the index was launched in 2005. A compendium of average outcomes by race in many aspects of life. It shows how hard it is for people of color. Now, that's a more accurate, you understand, connotation, to overcome systemic racism, the Civil Rights Organization says. See, they call it racism, but it's really the curse. That's why they haven't been able to do anything about it. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Also, pastors sue AME Church over missing retirement funds. Now, check this out. Okay, this is out of Orlando, Florida. Pastors have filed at least 3 federal lawsuits in recent weeks against the African Methodist Episcopal Church, along with several subsidiaries and financial firms the church used, alleging tens of millions of dollars from a pension fund were mismanaged and missing. The retired and current pastors in Florida, Maryland, and Virginia, you hear that? Filed the lawsuits against the oldest historically black denomination in the U.S. late last month. They are seeking class action status on behalf of thousands of other AME pastors and church officials throughout the country who lost money through the pension fund. The pastors who were required to participate in the retirement plan, you hear that? Required to participate in the retirement plan, said they have been unable to get access to their money. The lawsuit filed by the Florida pastor, the Reverend Charles Jackson in Orlando, alleges the church and its related financial institutions were negligent and breached their fiduciary responsibilities. Jackson is seeking a jury trial and punitive damages in the complaint filed in federal court in Tennessee. Many class members, including plaintiff Reverend Jackson, are retired and have suddenly learned that the resources they relied on to support themselves, to depend on in times of bad health, and to simply enjoy during retirement have been stolen from them by people they trusted, the lawsuit said. In their lawsuit filed in Virginia, the Reverends Darrell Wade and Reuben Boyd alleged that between $80 and $90 million was unaccounted for by either 2020 or 2021. In his lawsuit, the Reverend Cedric Alexander of Boyd, Maryland said the then chair of the church's retirement fund invested money in undeveloped land in Florida and a now defunct capital venture outfit and gave a promissory note to an installer of solar panels. The lawsuit alleges violations of a federal law protecting employee retirement funds. The church's retirement fund chair invested planned assets in imprudent, extraordinarily risky investments that ultimately lost nearly $100 million of planned participants' retirement savings, the Maryland lawsuit said. In a statement Tuesday, the church said it was limited in what it could say because of litigation, but noted that it had resumed some distributions to fund participants starting last month. We appreciate our community's concern and remain grateful for the patience of our clergy, staff, and members as we continue to investigate this matter. Huh? Where's JC that they put their trust in? And they put their trust in flesh. They said that too. You know, we're not supposed to trust flesh. We're supposed to trust Yah, right? But now, 10, 80 to 90, $100 million is gone. Retirement money for these people who were in their idol. These Israelites, who are in their idols. Now their money gone. And they're not going to get it back. You can believe that. This is hung up in the court system. How many of them going to be homeless and out on the street before maybe some of this is brought back to them? And if some of it is, by that time, what value will the dollar have as inflation steadily rises and dollars are becoming more and more and more worthless? Okay? Chicago Sun-Times, April 17th. For Jews fleeing Ukraine, Passover takes on added meaning this year. You understand me? Jews who not Israel, who claim to be Israel and are not. Right? Check this out. It said, I need to smile for my community. This Wolf, he's a rabbi, Abraham Wolf, Edomite, right? You understand? Said with a big smile as he walked into the Chabad synagogue in Odessa, Ukraine. I told you there's plenty of Edomites over there in that Ukraine. They're the ones really fighting against Russia. You understand? You follow me? You got to read closer, go on the internet, and you can see it's not hard. These Ukrainians that's fighting basically is the Edomites. Just like that president that the United States puppet put over there, Zelensky. Like I said, he worth $850 million. You understand? It says this rabbi said, I need to smile for my community, Wolf said, as Jews in Ukraine, a nation steeped in Jewish history, hear that? And heritage, and around the world prepared for Friday's start of Passover. We need humor. We need hope. Tens of thousands of Ukrainian Jews have fled Ukraine while about 80% remain. Okay? According to estimates from Chabad, C-H-A-B-A-D, one of the world's largest Hasidic Jewish organizations. Hasidism started back then in 300 BCE. You follow me? That's evolved into Judaism. You understand what I mean? Now, okay? I tell you, boy. These Edomites, man, wherever they go, it's going to be trouble. Going to be trouble. Now, so Yah is bringing the drama on. And again, through their own people. Because this the Illuminati Edomite coming through America that's putting all them Edomites over there in Ukraine. Just like they did in them central, nations of Europe back there in 1880 with the pogroms. Right? Just like they did, you understand, with the whole Nazi situation under Hitler. You understand, World War II. You follow me? Put the Edomites, you understand what I mean? Did that to their own people. How many times I said that through the years? Right? How I die hidden things, secret things sought up and searched out, O Esau. Now, because again, Yada, we were talking here last week, and I said again to Yada, I said, yeah, because she was telling me something she had seen, because she be listening to Alex and Alexander on the internet, and, Caleb Maupin, and she listens to them all the time now. You follow what I'm saying? George Galloway, because she just I just took a little break, and she told me she was watching George Galloway. He got 3 people on there talking about the U.S. dollar collapse and losing its hegemony. And she said, you got to hear this when you get through. Yes, and I listen to it later. You follow what I'm saying? But like I said, she brought me something. I said, hey, hide thy hidden things, secret things sought up and searched out. This is what y'all doing. He revealed these Edomites. And there's nothing that they can do to try to, keep this from happening. This is the word of Yah, bringing them out. You understand? They don't know anything else to do but to attack, divide, conquer, because they got this insatiable, appetite to always want, because they're like leeches. You understand what I mean? Sycophants. You understand? They always attack somebody for what they've got. Like I say, whatever nation, to attack that nation, to attack the people for what they've got, to suck up, a person or nation's lifeblood. That's again why, Abraham Stoker, you understand, wrote Dracul, Prince of Darkness, right? You understand? I tell you, it's just so plain. The more you deal with this, the more you into this book, the more you get in harmony with Yah. Yah just makes it plainer and plainer and plainer and plainer. And it just gets clearer and clearer. Where you can see the word of Yah coming to pass constantly. This is the hand of the Most High. You understand? Working through the sword. Jeremiah 25, that he's brought on the inhabitants of the earth to drive them mad. See, now, you understand? He's put the cup of drunkenness in the hand of the sword bearers, the illuminated Edomites, and the Edomites, period. Wherever they are, they got the cup of drunkenness in their hand. And like I said in the past, definitely if they adversarial to Yah and adversarial to the way of Yah, they definitely drunk, without a doubt. Okay? Okay, Chicago Tribune, April 16th. Palestinians and Israelis, Edomites, right? Police clash at holy site. Unrest, tensions already high amid recent violence. Now, this is when they was attacking the El-Asa and up there, by the Dome of the Rock and the El-As mines. You see what I'm saying? Okay, that's the Edomites. See, because the Edomites, they, you understand, one of the Edomites went up in the El-Asa, you understand, it's going to offer a goat or a lamb. He went up in the El-Asa with a sacrifice. Because if you watch that Ali Abu Niwa interview, he mentions it. I had already heard it on the news, but he mentioned it because I wasn't sure just who doing what kind of offering. But it was the Edomites trying to offer, and what crazy as they, I go up in the El-Asa, go offer an offering. Okay, you follow me? Because Ali Abu Niwa talked about it, but he talked about it in the sense that like how crazy is that? You follow me? That's how Ali Abu Niwa was talking about it. How insane is that? An animal sacrifice. You know what I mean? That's how he talked about it in that sense. I heard it in his voice, and the way he talked about it. See, none of them understand, at least he don't, you understand that this is what's going to happen in Yah's temple. Once the Jerusalem is cleansed of all idolatry and Yah's temple is built, them sacrifices going back on even in the morning, every day, forever. Just read Ezekiel chapter 40 on to the end. It's all talked about it now. You understand what I'm saying? I just touched on it earlier when I read Jeremiah chapter 33. The few verses I read out of Jeremiah chapter 33. What did y'all say? If day and night can be stopped, he won't have priests and Levites, before him to, you understand, offer continually. Offer. Now, you follow me? Chicago Tribune, April 16th. Cameroon makes list The Homeland Security Department said Friday it will temporarily shield people from deportation back to Cameroon, saying extreme violence between government forces and armed separatists in the African nation made it unsafe for them to return. In other words, they've been shipping them back, but now they're gonna give them a little breather, right? From something they caused. Because you know, United States, again, Illuminati Edomite, divide and conquer. Simple as that. Now that's what they're doing over in Cameroon and many other places like the Ukraine. Okay, and they trying, like I said, they trying to get the people of Russia to rise up and remove Putin, but that ain't happening. See, because the people in Russia, they understand why Putin, they behind Putin 1,000%. You understand what I'm saying? And that little minority sellouts that might be over there that America talk about, they ain't nothing to raise a ripple. They ain't enough to raise a ripple of dissent. You understand what I'm saying? Because the Russians know. See, I heard here, I listened to some stuff here the other month. The Russians lost like 90 million people in World War II. I'm pretty sure I got that right. You understand? You follow me? If it wasn't just World War II, it's World War I and II. But I think it's just World War II. They lost like 90 million people, man. That's a lot of people. See, they don't want no wars, but they're not going to allow America, you understand, this illuminated Edomite through America and the West, that these nations that they control in the West, to come on them and bring all this nonsense. They're not going to allow it. And you can't blame them. Okay? Not if you understand. Chicago Tribune, April 16th. Activists say East African oil pipeline is ill-advised project. Now, this is out of Kenya. Okay? Because they got this Kenyan sister, Hilda Nakaboya, Friday for, she says, Fridays for future activists from Uganda speaks at the opening of the Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue on March 29th in Berlin. It's almost like the Berlin Conference, you know, back there in the 19th century when, you understand, Esau through the European nations that it was controlling, you know, they going in attacking so-called Africa, cutting it up, you know what I'm saying? So they says climate activists, including influential campaigners Vanessa Nakate and Hilda Nakaboya, are urging more banks and insurers not to back the controversial $5 billion East African crude oil pipeline that is primed to transport oil from the Hoima oil fields in Uganda to the Tanzanian coastal city of Tanga. All right? So you know this is Esau, okay? Because it's backed by HSBC, Hong Kong Shanghai Bank of China, right? And the BNP Paribas, I think that's British, something, the petroleum Swiss, and the Swiss Re, you know, this is the Edomite on this side, you know, Illuminati Edomite. You understand what I'm saying? More than likely, yeah, that's what I see here. Illuminati Edomite is setting up a $5 billion crude oil pipeline, and they say this is gonna be detrimental. They don't care nothing about that. See that there? Okay. You understand? They don't care anything about that. Tell you, boy. Chicago, you know, and again, when we were talking here the other week, and I said, you know, illuminated Edomite, I said, you know, and I said, you got to remember, all right, anything, you know, World War I, World War II, these big wars, anything done on a magnitude like that is only the rich, the super rich that can do that. Poor folks can't do anything like that. You follow me? Because again, IG Farben, right, was purchased by Standard Oil. 24, 25? I think it was 1925. I didn't talk about this before. IG Farben, who came up with the, you know, the formula for refined gasoline. You cannot have a mechanized army unless it's, you know, unless you got an abundance of refined gasoline. So explain to me how the Nazi, you understand, the German army could operate. You follow what I'm saying? When Standard Oil owned the formula for refined gasoline. Because when they bought it from IG Farmer, they sent him over it to run it. But it was owned by Standard Oil, Rockefellers based here, Edomites based here in America. There's only the super rich can carry something on like that. Poor folks can't do that. You follow me? So again, all these major wars is orchestrated by the bankers. And they do it what? To get these nations, right, divide and conquer, to get them into controversy, where they get to fight. And then the bankers are sitting there, funding all the sides. However many sides, they funding them. Because you got to have deep pockets to be in any kind of war. You follow me? And so when they're ready to bring the war to end, they pull their backing from whoever they pull it back from and cause whoever they want to win. But they got everybody in their debt. That's how they operate. Okay? Chicago Tribune, April 18, 17 hurt in clashes again at holy site in Jerusalem. They got Jerusalem, man. Unrest occurs just days after flare-up at Hilltop compound. Okay? See? It's ratcheting up. It's getting worse. Getting worse, right? See? Maybe our brothers and sisters, the so-called Palestinians, will figure it out that they Israel and start calling on Yah. Even if they don't think they Israel, they need to call on Yah. He the creator, not no Allah. You know what I mean? Not no JC, not no Buddha, and none of the other garbage. You understand? That's all idolatry. All religions are wrong. Yah is the only creator. That's it. I don't care what your nationality is. If you want some help from the creator, then you better learn the name of Yah and call on Yah. Simple as that. And if you want him to help, you better get in harmony with him, because that's what he gonna communicate with you. If you call on him, he gonna make it known to you. You better start, you understand, embracing and submitting to his laws, statutes, orders, judgments, commandments, and precepts. That's just that simple, right? Chicago Tribune, April the 19th. German groups balk at EU ban of Russian gas. You follow me? Because the German, hey, they're like, hey, we can't stop getting Russian oil and gas. You understand? Check this out. Says this is out of Berlin. Germany's employers and unions have joined together in opposing an immediate European Union ban on natural gas imports from Russia over its invasion of Ukraine, saying such a move would lead to factory shutdown and the loss of jobs in the bloc's largest economy. Now, this is one of the reasons, quite naturally, World War I came about mainly because the illuminated Edomite wanted to control the Holy Land. See, this. Let me just say this again, okay? The main thing, okay, that these illuminated Edomites are trying to do and trying to keep from happening is what that Edomite that called here in December 2010 said to me. I said it at the early part of this. I said it in the past. I'll say it again. That's what all of these talking heads, basically, from what I can, siphon, don't understand. Now, Jerusalem here, toward the end of last year, he the first one ever said it. Even kind of, said this amount when he said, he had been saying the bankers, because I've been waiting for the bankers control this thing. The bankers is the government. He said the bankers run this. The banks are gangsters. That's what Jerusalem did. Then here toward the end of last year, and I talked about it. The next session that we did, I talked about it. Jerusalem, he said, you understand, these bankers, he said, they say they Jews, but they not. Now, he got this thing out the New Testament. He don't understand that it was the illuminated Edomite that wrote that garbage. You follow me? So he took that out of, what's that, out of Revelation? He said, they say they Jews, but they not. They really out of Ashkenaz. Now, he kind of intimated this. We was listening to him here a couple days ago. He kind of touched on it again. He didn't say all what he said then, but he kind of touched on that. You follow me? Now, because he in the JC. I've heard him say this time and again. He into the Prince of Peace. He don't know who the Prince of Peace is. You follow me? Because he caught up in in the New Testament. Because that's more likely how his daddy and mama raised him. You follow me? But he don't know the truth. That's why he confused. You follow me? Like most people are. But the whole reason that these illuminated Edomites are doing what they're doing, because they're trying to keep control of Jerusalem, the Holy Land. See what I'm saying? Keep these people, these nations in array. You understand? Keep them divided. Keep them into religion. Because they know, you understand, the only thing they fear is Yah. That's it. Simple as that. Now, they could be leading America, I ain't doubting, leading it down this rabbit hole. You know, like I just said before, they kill everybody here to try to destroy our righteousness, this movement. They know they illuminated. You know, they understood 52 Yeshaya. And probably still know it. Because again, y'all repaying them to their face. Again, Yeshaya chapter 28. Bed shorter than they can stretch out on, covering narrow than they can wrap themselves up in. See? Yeshaya 27. When it first sprung forth, the illuminated Edomite, he debated with it. He didn't want to believe it. And what does Yah say? You know, he staved his rough wind in the day of the east wind. By this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Zion, Jerusalem, be purged. Not Jacob. Zion, Jerusalem, be purged. Right? Just like you remember chapter 30, verse 7. Esau stuck Jacob there, but it did say it should say Zion again. When you keep reading, it's going to say Zion. You follow me? And again, what does it say? But Zion going to be saved out of it. Well, isn't that what the Jerusalem movement is being prepared for? Right? Being refined, being prepared. As we purge the ways of the heathen out of us, profaneness out of us, profanity out of us, put perverse lips far from thee, put perverse thoughts far from thee, right? Let go of the chicken and the turkey, all the unclean garbage, right? The drugs, right? You understand? The cow's milk, right? We're supposed to embrace the law. Deuteronomy 30 verse 2, with all our heart and all our soul. So the Jerusalem movement, right? And those who have sought Yah out, because if you seeking Yah, I don't care who you are, but definitely Israel and definitely the descendants of Jerusalem, you're going to be directed at some point. You're going to be brought to this Yah righteousness movement. Just that simple. And then you got to make a decision. See? As I was telling some here the other week, and had people call through the years, right? They can make all kind of claims. I'm gonna be about Yah forever, I'm gonna be about the Most High. Ain't nowhere to be seen, nowhere around. Okay, so for years, right? You understand what I mean? Around the movement, acting like they all about it, but when they get close to the core, to the servant, you understand, to that stone cut out without hand, if you ain't really about it, you ain't gonna know pretending, because you're gonna be seen. Because y'all, the law is being utilized by the servant, and the servants of the Most High with all their hearts, they applying that law. You ain't really about it, you're gonna be seen. And it's going to be brought to you. And it's either you're going to humble yourself and do it or not. See? But again, because of the pandemic and now the collapse of the dollar, and again, the collapse of the dollar has started before the pandemic, over 2 years ago. We didn't talk about that. Like I said, they brought in the pandemic to get rid of people and to try to cover up the collapse of the dollar. Just like now the Ukrainian situation, right? Trying to keep the covering up of the collapse of the dollar, right? And you understand? The collapse of the daughter of Babylon, right? Trying to cover that up. See? As they steadily keep gnawing away like the termites that they are, these illuminated Edomites, right? Sycophants, right? Parasites. That's what they are. Dracul. That's why Abraham slogan, he understand, Dracul, Prince of Darkness. He's the ultimate parasite, sycophant. Right? You follow me? feed off of other people, feed off of their labor, feed off of their industrialization, off of their work, their industry, what other people do, he feeds off of it. It takes, you understand, the meat of that to himself, right? The lifeblood, right? Dracul, stick the teeth in the neck, suck out the lifeblood of a nation, of a people, of a person, and takes their wealth, right? Whatever that is, to himself, and leaves them naked and dry and bare, and you understand what I mean? Homeless and impoverished, dead, right? That's what these illuminated mites do. See? So again, Germany was bustling economy back there in the early part of the 20th century. See? And he wanted to attack their economy. All right? Because he boasts, at that time, he, building up America. That's how America became great, feeding off other nations, right? So World War I, it caused them to get control of the Holy Land, the Balfour Declaration, 1917, and then it knocked down Germany's economy, big time, right? Again, that's why he came up with the Marshall Plan, right? Supposedly, so that Germans could pay the French and the English, their war reparations, put these harsh war reparations, but at the same time came up with the Marshall Plan to reinvigorate Germany, build it back up. Again, the rich, super rich, the only ones can do this, right? So again, what happened? They brought, Rockefeller, Standard Oil, bought IG Farben, had it based in Germany, but they the ones own it. IBM, based it in Germany. Coca-Cola, Fanta, based in Germany. Build Germany back up with these different, industries that's controlled by the illuminated Edomite here in America. Set them up over there in Germany, right? And then came up, like I say, with the Marshall Plan, was that 1928? Okay, and they brought it to the French and the English, because the French and the English wasn't getting war reparations, so they upset. So listen, you understand? We'll build Germany back up. We won't take out but 10% of profits. 90% of the profits we reinvest back in Germany. But the whole thing was to build Germany back up for World War II. Like we said before, you understand? They never talk about how the Edomites attacked Germany in 32, putting out don't buy German products. That's an attack, right? That's just like the sanctions. Embargoes, don't buy German products. And any industry would buy German products, they was attacking it. Here, in Europe, right? Don't buy German products. When the Germans saw that in 1933, the Germans were like, what? What? You understand what I mean? So now they're like, hey, we're going to, you understand, close you Edomites down over here. You going to attack us. Well, again, they're doing the same thing over there in the Ukraine. Well, over 100 years later, same tactics. You follow me? Trying to attack Russian economy. Because they want to get control of Russia's natural resources. They got agents over in Russia, just like the Civil War, right? They had agents in the north, they had agents in the south. Judah Benjamin is down there in the south, putting the bug in the ear of Jefferson Davis and them Southerners. You follow me? They got the Red Butlers, gone with the wind, running, the Edomites running, you understand, the traffic from England to the south, right? And then they got, you understand, agents in the north up there with Lincoln, putting bugs in his ear. You follow me? Like termites gnawing away at the foundations of countries and whatnot, divide and conquer, north and south, started the Civil War. Look how many people died in that. You follow me? But Esau came out the winner, getting more control of America. Andrew Jackson peeped him. They tried to have him assassinated 3 times, failed each time, right? You follow me? Because he peeped them. Says these bankers. Just like I told you about that movie, you understand, Benito Juarez, right? Old movie. Paul Muni playing Benito Juarez, Claude Rains playing Napoleon III. And at the beginning of the movie, you understand, Claude Rains, he's Napoleon III. He walk into this big room where all of these bankers are sitting at this huge table, man. And he said he got the news what was going on you understand, in Mexico with the with his situation, because he, the Louisiana Purchase. He says, you bankers got me in this trouble. You see what I'm saying? The bankers, like, you understand, termites gnawing away, at the foundations of nations to get control, divide and conquer. They don't care how many people die. Look at them now. What did that Adam Schiff, Edomite in the Senate, say here other month in Washington, D.C.? Say, we're going to fight Russia to the last Ukrainian. And it's Edomites, mostly, Edomites over there. They don't care nothing about them. We're gonna fight Russia from Ukraine, so we ain't got to fight them here. That's what he said. See, when you hear this stuff and you understand, they revealing what they doing if you know how to, really understand, if you can really see the truth. See? So they feeding the Ukraine. What did Biden just now? He about sending $33 billion worth of material over to the Ukraine. I mean, $33 billion, man. Taxpayer dollars. You got all these problems here in America. Infrastructure crumbling. People homeless. All different pigmentations. You know what I mean? Like I've been telling you, they don't care nothing about you Caucasians. These so-called white folks, y'all all waving the flag, and they don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about you. Now, you understand? They snatching your money, been snatching your money since they set up the Federal Reserve back there in 1913. And really, since 1933. Got you all caught up in all these scams and shams and pensions and stocks and bonds, all this stuff's collapsing as I speak. You understand? All these quote unquote black folks, generally Israelites, Latinos, a lot of them Israelites, right? You understand? Native Americans, as I just read, disproportionately it is hit. This collapse is disproportionately hit all of them over. You understand? Homelessness, right? Because again, we discriminated against, because this Esau controlled the bank. They wasn't giving us no loans. You follow me? Until they was ready to rip us off. Back there with the subprime back in the roaring 90s. Set us up for failure with the subprime collapse. I'm telling you, like my man, what's his name, Jeremy, with the iconic. I can't think his last name now. Okay, but Jeremy, I can't think his last name. With the iconic podcast, we played what they allowed us to play. But you can go on there and look at the whole thing. But what we played was significant enough, right? You understand what he said? Now they want us to trust them. Okay. See, and they try to keep everybody apart. Stay in your house, because to keep you scared, so that you don't get the pandemic. You follow them, keep you scared, keep you in the house, keep you where you're not communicating. See, where you're not socializing, where you can't hear the same problems you got. Everybody got. You understand? Everybody's finances is collapsing, right? As the dollar collapsing. And again, the Edomites over in the land, just saw here the other week, they de-dollarizing. Did you hear me? The Edomites in the land, the Jews in the land are de-dollarizing. They getting out the dollar. Okay? So again, the Germans say, hey, we can't do without getting Russian gas and all. We'll have humongous amount of joblessness. You follow me? Our economy will collapse like. So here's the illuminated Edomite. He noticed well, you gotta sanction Russia. You with the West, you got to sanction Russia. The Germans like, wait a minute, You follow me? See, they rebelling against this, just like Modi over there in India. Like, I ain't doing that. Okay, my people ain't gonna do that. They're still hooked with Russia. You understand? Just like I say, Ben Salman, they say Biden's calling him. He ain't answering the phone. He over there talking to the Chinese. Now, you follow me? Also scaling back on food stamps. Millions of Americans get help with benefits, but states want to go back to normal. Okay? Month by month, this is out of Des Moines, Iowa. Month by month, more of the roughly 40 million Americans who get help buying groceries through the federal food stamp program are seeing their benefits plunge, even as the nation struggles with the biggest increase in food costs in decades. Now, he's sending $33 billion and billions prior to that over to the Ukraine. And you got people here starving like Marvin. I just read it to you. It is a big article. I ain't read the whole thing, but you get the drift, right? You follow me? They scaling back food stamps. 40 million Americans. If they say 40 million, it's probably 100 million. You follow me? When food costs is on the rise, cause inflation, the dollar collapsing. You know, because they say these food pantries is they running out. They run out of food quick. As soon as they get some food, it's gone. Boom. In the back door, out the front door. People standing in line. You understand what I'm saying? But he's sending billions of dollars. And again, I'm saying bad because they got him on Front Street. But it's D.C. I wouldn't make no difference if it was Trump there. And again, you know, you've been keeping up with y'all right. With Trump, they started scaling back when he was in office. They started scaling back when Obama was in office. Cutting the SNAP program, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. More and more and more as more homelessness is ratcheting up. But they sending billions of dollars to the Ukraine. What's that all about? When you got starving people here, infrastructure collapsing. Now make sense of that if you can, because I can't. I mean, the only sense is Esau nuts, right? And the daughter of Babylon, the United States of America, is collapsing. Okay? Chicago Sun-Times, April 20th. Federal air travel mask mandate is over, but wearing one's still the best option. Okay? Yes, then I still go out. I was out early this morning, and some people had masks on, some people didn't. Okay? And these ones who got the masks on, they really mind blown. You know, they really under mind control. Chicago Sun-Times, April 20th. Expert, cop press gun to Patrick Loyal's head fired. You know, about what happened up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I know many of you probably saw it. You know, he's from Kenya, I think. You know, him and his family. No, they from, wait a minute. What does it say? I know it says in somewhere where his family from. I think they from Kenya. Okay? But, yeah, I know many of you probably saw it on the internet. 26-year-old. Oh, refugee from the Congo. Okay? Patrick Loyola. Okay, Patrick Loyolas. Lyoya. Okay? You probably saw it, but the boy took off running. The Caucasian, you know, chased after him, caught him, and he pulled his taser, but, you know, Patrick Loyola, he grabbed the taser, and they struggling. He was on top of the Congolese, right? And they struggling, and next thing you know, he pulled his gun out and shot him in the head. So, you know, I mean, George Floyd, I mean, Sandra Bland, you know, what's her name? Bernice Taylor. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just on and on and on. Same thing happened to us over here, happening in the land wherever we are. We Israel. We under curse. Now, I don't know about this Patrick Lawyer. He's from the Congo, but he very well could be Israelite, because we everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, with that happening to him, sound like Israel to me. Okay? And they say they got a lot of problems up there in Grand Rapids because a lot of them Congolese, you know, from the continent is moved over there. They got an area. And like every place, they put us in one area and then they police us. You understand? They put a cordon of police around us to make sure, do their best to make sure we stay in our area. Okay? Because we talk about, Caucasian come over here, Edomites come over here, they walk around, nothing happen, ain't nothing said. They can sit out in front of your place, or you understand, or whatever, nothing said. But you go to their neighborhood. So let some of us go to their neighborhood and sit in the car or stand outside the car, you know what I mean, and just stand there and talk. And see don't the police show up within about 10 minutes or less. You live around here, let me see some ID. Okay? Now, Chicago Tribune, April the 20th. South Africa launches relief drive after 100 die in floods. Okay, I mentioned that a little earlier. See? Again, y'all making his judgment rest for a light to the people. Chicago Tribune, April 21st. To all of those stops. Okay? It said, one middle-aged African-American South Carolinian recalled being stopped by police 7 times in the previous year. U.S. Senator Tim Scott, a Republican, said that in each instance, I was doing nothing more than driving a new car in the wrong neighborhood or some other reason just as trivial. Now, he's a Republican Senator, Tim Scott, Republican. I've seen him before. He ain't about nothing. But, he Israel, okay? Now, he driving in a new car down in South Carolina. So he been stopped by police 7 times. Okay, so he got stopped just because he was driving a new car or something else as trivial. Okay, and again, this is police stopping us. And some of you might have seen that documentary, Driving While Black. You know what I mean? Which again, wrong connotation. Being an Israelite, that's the curse. Chicago Tribune, April 21st. Southwest wildfires prompt hundreds to flee. You shall not know from whence it rises. 47th chapter Yeshaya, daughter of Babylon. It is happening from everywhere. Fires, floods, your droughts, right? Homelessness, infrastructure collapse, high prices, you understand what I mean? Savings being snatched, right? The AME, you know what I mean? All them Israelites is in their idolatry, they you understand, their pension snatched, that they are required to be part of, to be into. Required, right? Definitely all of the clergy, pastors, and anybody hooked up, you required to invest. You got to put your money in that. There ain't no, it's not opinionated, you know what I mean? It's not whether you want to or not. You're required to be in there. Put your money in there. Now, $180 to $100 million gone. Okay? They got some suits in. What does that mean? I mean, what, you think that might be settled 6 or 7 years from now? Will it still be $1 then? Right? Chicago Tribune, April 21st. Judge sends Assange extradition decision to the UK minister. That's Julian Assange. They still got him locked up because he revealed things they didn't want the people to know. What America was doing over there in Iraq, in Afghanistan. They revealed WikiLeaks. He revealed about Hillary Clinton and Podesta. You follow me? And how they're a bunch of pedophiles, child molesters and sodomites and bunch of freaks. Okay? You follow me? He revealed this through WikiLeaks. They hate his guts. So they got him locked up, locked down over there in England and doing all kind of nasty stuff to him every day. But they, Chris Hedges and his wife now, they talk about his father, Julian Assange's father. They say how he's in bad mental condition. You follow me? No telling what they all doing to him. Just like they do to these brothers and sisters and people up in these prisons. Shoot them up with everything, feed them all kind of garbage. That's what's happening. Okay. Chicago Tribune, April 22nd. Israeli-Palestinians trade fire as violence intensifies. Okay. Say the Palestinians have accused the Israeli police of using excessive force at the holy site. See what I mean? At their house of worship, right? And Palestinian social media have been filled with videos showing Israeli forces striking what appear to be unarmed Palestinians, including women. You know, the Edomites gonna write it different, but at least they kind of putting in what, you know, so-called Palestinians, who really Israel, right, are saying about these Edomites, the Jews, the Israelis, right? Say they fear that the police recent facilitation of Jewish prayer at the site, the Eli's Mosque, right, against decades of convention, is the latest effort to weaken Muslim access to and oversight over one of Islam's most sacred places, you know, the Eli's. All idolatry, right? Chicago Tribune, April the 23rd. Israeli police storm holy site after stones thrown. Yeah, right. Dozens of Palestinians hurt in latest violence. Chicago Tribune, April 23rd. EU moves nearer to new social media regulations. Intent of landmark legislation is to address societal harm seen on platform. So you know, they want to keep shut down these different sites on the internet. You follow me? Social media that's revealing the real deal, what's going on over there in the Ukraine. You follow me? What's going on over in Palestine, Israel, right? With the Palestinians, the so-called Palestinians, right? With the Edomites, just whatever. You know, you understand? They don't want the real deal, so they shut down these social media, you know, platforms. That's why now Lee Camp had, I don't think he's still situated yet on where he gonna be on. You understand? Like I said, Chris Hedges, Matt Chiabi, Glenn Greenwald, they all have moved to this like Substack, I think it's called. And you know, you got to pay now so much to hear them what they putting out, because they didn't shut them down. You know what I mean? And so, you know, that's what they do, trying to keep, you understand, truth from circulating. So let they talk about it all the time. See, you know, they leave him on, you know what I mean? Because he still talking about Jesus. So they gonna leave him on. You follow what I'm saying? See? Yes, he don't realize he's still caught. You know what I mean? Chicago Tribune, April 25th. Inflation reaches food pantries. See, that's what I mentioned earlier, right? As cost of groceries rises, providers across cities see increased demand. It has just not stopped. That's why you understand, these food pantries, as soon as they get food in the back door, go right out the front. Because they got people standing there waiting constantly. You understand that these food pantries can't keep no stock. It's gone as soon as they get it. Chicago Tribune, April 25th. The Israelis accuse Hamas of inciting holy site violence. Quite naturally, you know, they're going to point the finger at them, blame it on them, right? This is out of the foreign minister. Said group's plan is to set off conflict in region. You understand? So, you know, that's a constant, right? Where they going to put it on the Palestinians. They got all these checkpoints and oppression and going on. But at the same time, this is happening to the so-called Palestinians because they're in idolatry. Simple as that. Chicago Sun-Times, April 26. Anti-Semitic hate incidents reach historic levels across U.S. state. Okay? This is a state report. You understand now? Again, anti-Semitic hate incidents reach historic levels. But when you read, it's all about the Edomites, the Jews. Okay? Like I said earlier, like they're the only Shemites in the world. You understand? Everybody out of Shem is a Shemite. Right? Yes, they're going to say but they do anti-Semitic acts on the so-called Palestinians who are really Israel every day. And this has been going on since 1948. Now, over 72 years, this been going on, right? But they don't blame themselves as being anti-Semitic, though, right? Now check this out. Governor J.B. Pritzker, I mentioned him before, Edomite, billionaire family, Penny Pritzker, brother, right? You understand? He the governor of Illinois. A member of one of the city's most prominent Jewish families included $20 million in his recent budget to fund a grant program that helps secure synagogues, mosques, and other religious institutions. Now, explain to me, now this J.B. Pritzker, he a multi-billionaire. You don't take taxpayers' dollars to protect synagogue and Edomite institutions. Take your own money and protect it. You follow me? He gonna put in the budget for Illinois $20 million, you understand, to go to secure synagogues and mosques and other religious institutions. So I don't care if it's synagogues or mosques. Let them use their own money. Now, you follow me? See? And he probably just threw mosques in there to try to make it, look like it ain't all going to the Edomites. But out of that 20 million, probably 19 million is going to protect synagogues, and the million, you know how they do. Bad is we need roads and infrastructure build up and jobs here, huh? And to negate homelessness. And you go do this for some institutions, religious institutions, idolatrous? My goodness. Chicago Tribune, April 27, Fidelity to offer Bitcoin as option in 401k plans. Now, here's some more okie doke, right? People with 401k plans, you can get Bitcoin, and they're gonna wipe that out. You understand what I mean? Move comes after U.S. warns retirement industry about volatility of crypto. So they go like, we told you it was volatile. Okay? See? That's how they do. We told you it was volatile. That's why it's all gone. We told you it was volatile. Now you took a chance. It's risky, right? Also, too much cash, a temptation. Marijuana shop robberies. Killings drive a renewed push for federal banking reforms. Now see, cause this marijuana, the federal government doesn't look at marijuana because it's legal. So therefore, the banking institutions, you can't use credit card. You follow what I'm saying? To go to the marijuana supply shop and buy your marijuana in any of these states, because you can't use no credit card, because you understand? Esau is telling you, the federal law says it's not legal, so we ain't gonna let you use no credit card to get it. So you got to have cash. So all these marijuana dispensaries, they taking nothing but cash, right? And so you understand? These people out here know this, so they've been robbing around here in Chicago. You understand? These marijuana institutions. Now, my manicure, she told me, we was talking the other week. She said Israel, one of her customers, right? She said, you understand, work at one of the marijuana dispensaries, and she said they got said you got to come through 3 different, checks, like to go up in there to buy some marijuana. She said, like, you come through the first, doors, and that's all secured, right? And I guess you got to show them, and then they got bulletproof glass. Then you go through another door, right? And I guess you look at the marijuana, they'll pick it out that you want. Then you got to go through another door. She said she told us it's bulletproof glass and steel doors everywhere. You got to get buzzed in and buzzed out. Okay? Because they've been getting robbed. Because, you understand, these thieves know they got nothing but cash up in them. Now, you follow me? It ain't no sense talking about, no credit card tickets or nothing. They got nothing but cash. That's the only thing they allow you to buy that weed with is cash. That's it. Okay? Chicago Sun-Times, April 24. Chicago was hit hard by gas bills. People Gas, that's the name of the gas dispensary here in Chicago, in the state of Illinois, Chicago. Despite record profits, hear that? People's Gas, despite record profits, has the most customers struggling to pay their bills of any Chicago area utility. Okay? Chicago was hit hard by gas bills. Okay? Coming from everywhere. All right? getting hit hard. And the electric company wants a raise right now here in Chicago. They want more money right now. Okay, Chicago Tribune, April 28th. Economist, Russian gas cutoff could hurt Europe's. You could hurt Europe. Okay, because again, you probably heard, again, Russia told all of them, say, hey, you want gas and natural gas and oil from us, you got to pay in rubles. So Bulgaria and Poland, they was flip-flopping back. Okay, we'll do it, then we won't, then we'll do it. So they didn't do it, and Russia cut their gas and oil off. Poland and Bulgaria, they cut it off. You keep flim-flamming, we're going to cut, and they cut them off. And we saw on the internet, RT, they was talking to people over there, they're like, hey, the government got to do something. Say, we got to get some of the Polish people, the Bulgarians, they're like, we got to get the government out of there because we got to get some gas. You understand? See, because that's you don't have any cooking gas, you don't have any heating gas, huh? And they was upset. Okay? And Russia stopped it. They told them, hey, we ain't going to play around with you now. You understand? You want gas and oil, hey, you got to pay in rubles. We ain't taking no dollars, we ain't taking no euros. You got to pay in rubles. Now, and more likely Russia and China gonna work something out, and they gonna work, they might take each other's currency. They back it so much with gold, they can take each other's currency. You understand? But more than likely, they ain't gonna take nobody's currency. They ain't got so much gold backing. Chicago Tribune, April 28th. World feels Russian invasion impact on cooking oil prices, right? Because the sunflower, what is it like? I think it's like 75 to 90% of your sunflower oil comes out to Ukraine, and they say that sunflower oil that shot up big time. Okay, big time. And not only that, I think I said it last session, right? A lot of the potato chips and cookies and stuff like that people buy off the shelf is cooked in sunflower oil. So now all that stuff's going up. You follow me? Because the price of sunflower oil has shot up big time. I think 1,000% they said. And so now those who can't get the sunflower oil, you got to go to another oil. They're going to go up too. You understand? Anything in great demand, there's going to be some price gouging, and the price is going to go up. Chicago Sun-Times, April 29th. Health, housing, and hope. Owner of New South Loop Smoothie Shop offers jobs for people experiencing homelessness. Now, this is in the South Loop here in Chicago. And this sister, she trying to help people who homeless, who's without jobs. And so she's opened up. She's been doing something like this for a while now. Because look here, she did a thing back in 2019, this sister. You understand? And then they said Walmart gifted her $50,000 for her efforts, trying to help the homeless, trying to give them a boost up, trying to help those who's jobless, give them a stepping stone. She said, this is not permanent. I read the article. It said, it's not permanent. Payne said, her name is Candace Payne, Israelite sister. So she opened up a smoothie shop down on the south end of downtown here in Chicago, right? And it's she hires homeless, jobless people. You know what I mean? When she's saying, but she said this is not permanent. It's a transition period for those in need. So in other words, don't think I'm gonna do this forever. I'm just providing you a stepping stone so you can go on. You understand? Possibly, get yourself straightened out. And she's helped some people, and that's good. All that's good. You understand what I'm saying? But the problem comes from people can't see that this is all band-aids. Now, she's basically saying this is a band-aid. It ain't permanent, but by the same token, she's doing what she can to help. Well, you got different ones do what they can to help, but the deal is the only total cure, the only total end to all of this degradation and homelessness and impoverishment, right, and dilapidation, you understand, is our righteousness decay. Simple as that. Because you understand, as I said earlier and said before, he's setting up his dominion. Was going to bring an end to all of this nonsense. Okay, once and for all. Going to wipe away all the darkness, light flooding in. Right? So you got to make a decision. You're either going to be about Yah or you're not. If you're not, you're in trouble. If you be about Yah, he's salvation in him and him alone. Period. Right? Chicago Sun-Times, April 29th. Defund drugs. Stop the expansion of cannabis shops and business in Illinois before it's too late. Now, this is a big article, one-page article. And I pulled it because I'm like, yeah, see, now, the writer of this article here, you understand, this is paid for by everybrainmatters.org. Okay? Everybrainmatters.org. See, and they're saying that this is detrimental, all these drugs. Huh? You follow me? This is detrimental. They got pictures of all kind of drugs that they, putting out here, letting the people use. They said to stop it before they stop these cannabis shops. Right? You understand? This is not good. People smoking this weed, you know what I mean? It's not good. And they're right. It's not. Chicago Sun-Times, April 29th. Report calls out Minneapolis police for abuse of social media. Now, again, this is the, where George Floyd got killed up there in Minneapolis. They had a lot of trouble over the years, right? But it says, it's out of St. Paul, Minnesota. Among the scathing findings of an investigation launched after the police killing of George Floyd is that Minneapolis police use covert or bogus social media accounts to monitor black individuals and groups despite having no clear public safety rationale for doing so. The report released Wednesday by the Minnesota Department of Human Rights echoes numerous past revelations that the FBI and other law enforcement agencies have sometimes illegally, secretly surveilled prominent people and communities of color, even though they weren't involved in any criminal activity. They do that all across the country. Okay? Overall, the 2-year investigation found that the Minneapolis Police Department engaged in a pattern of race discrimination for at least a decade, including stopping and arresting black people at a higher rate than white people, more frequent use of force on people of color, and a department culture that tolerated racist language. Regarding social media, it spotlighted departmental abuses turned up in a review spanning activity between 2010 and 2020. Officers used covert or fake accounts to seek and gain access to the online profiles of black individuals, including an unnamed city council member and a state elected official, the report said, as well as groups such as the Minneapolis NAACP and Urban League. The activity included friend requests, comments on posts, private messages, and participation in discussions. When doing so, officers posed as like-minded individuals and claimed, for example, that they met the targeted person at a prior demonstration or protest. Okay? Says the report acknowledged that law enforcement can have legitimate reasons for tracking social media if a clear investigative purpose to advance public safety exists, and if clear procedures and accountability mechanisms are in place. But Minneapolis police fell well short of those standards. Investigators determined improperly using their accounts to surveil and engage black individuals, black organizations, and elected officials unrelated, should I say, to criminal activity without public safety objective. So again, if they was doing this in Minneapolis, Minnesota, they doing it all across the country. Simple as that. Okay? Chicago Tribune, April the 29th. FDA releases its plan for ban of menthol cigarettes. Flavored tobacco deemed to target minority youths. Says, this is out of Washington. U.S. government on Thursday released its long-awaited plan to ban menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars, citing the toll on black smokers and young people. Now, they just finding that out? Because I asked this morning, you understand? I was at the gas station, right? And so I asked the guy, I said, how much a pack of cigarettes? He said, $15. I said, it in Pakistan? He said, yeah, $15. Okay, for a pack of cigarettes. And when he told me that, I just shook my head. Okay, and I said, man, it's a far cry from when I was smoking cigarettes. I said, I used to get a pack of cigarettes for 40 cents. He's like, what? He's a young guy, right? Palestinian. He said, what? I said, yeah. I said, I stopped smoking cigarettes back in 1974, February. I said, I used to get a pack of cigarettes back then for 40 cents. And now it's $15. I said, that's inflation. I said, I had some money in my hand because I was getting gas. I said, that's how far this dollar has collapsed. Okay. He's like, what? He's still trying to, you know, you follow what I'm saying? You know, deal with that. You understand? I left him. I said, take care, $15 for a pack of cigarettes. That's why they out here selling loose cigarettes. Because average person can't afford no $15 pack of cigarettes. So last April, the Biden administration pledged to try to ban menthol within a year, responding in part to African American groups who say menthol has led to lower quit rates and higher rates of death among black people. Menthols are used by 85% of black smokers. Black folks die disproportionately of heart disease, lung cancer, and stroke. Okay? Menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars are the main vectors of those diseases in the black and brown communities and have been for a long time. Like I say, they just not finding that out. It's been for a long time. More than 12% of Americans smoke cigarettes, with rates roughly even between white and black populations. In 2019, more than 18 million Americans smoked menthol cigarettes, with higher rates among young people, African Americans, and other racial groups. Okay? $15 for a pack of cigarettes, and it's killing you. And people out here smoking. Now, let you know they don't have a brain cell in their head, right? Chicago Tribune, April the 30th. Wartime deception, a big issue. Respondents largely fault Russia's leaders for misinformation. See, again, but that's the flip around. Because misinformation coming, you understand, from here. That's where the misinformation, you follow me? The deception coming from America. And that's evident because they shut down all these people's sites. They don't want you to hear the real deal. Okay? Chicago Tribune, April the 30th. Officials confirm first human bird flu infection in Colorado. Now, in Colorado, and in the article, check this. A Colorado prison inmate has tested positive for bird flu in the first recent confirmed case of a human infected with the disease that has resulted in the deaths of millions of chickens and turkeys, but federal officials say they still see little threat to the general public. Right. You understand what I mean? All these chickens and turkeys died, but that's what they feed them up in them prisons. Now, here's a prisoner in Colorado. They telling us one, and probably more than that, not only in Colorado and other places, that's come down with this bird. You understand? What is it? Bird flu infection. Because that's what they feeding and shooting up in these chickens and turkeys. See? Because these unclean animals and fowl, they can hold this garbage that they be feeding them and shooting up at them. Where the clean stuff can't hold that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The clean animals that we can eat. You follow me? Chicago Tribune, April the 30th. Eurozone hits another record high for inflation. You hear that? See? Inflation hit a record high in April for the 19 countries that use the euro. Skyrocketing fuel prices boosted by the war in Ukraine weigh on the region's economic recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. See? Again, because all of these fiat currencies are collapsing. So they're going to try to cover it up, like I said, with the pandemic and then with the Ukrainian situation. But all these fiat currencies collapsing. The euro, all of them. You follow me? See? So 19 countries, inflation, big time. See, you know, inflation is jumping now. It's on the rise, and it's gonna keep on doing that until more likely than not, you're gonna have a collapse in the fiat currency. Definitely the dollar. Like I said, Yada told me earlier, you know, I got to listen to this Galloway and these three people he had on his show, George Galloway, right, talking about the dollar hegemony is tanking, right? May 1st, Chicago Sun-Times, Vegas water intake now visible at drought-stricken Lake Mead. It's out of Vegas, Las Vegas, right? A massive drought-starved reservoir on the Colorado River has become so depleted that Las Vegas now is pumping water from deeper within Lake Mead, where other states downstream don't have access. Okay, the Southern Nevada Water Authority announced this week that its low lake level pumping station is operational and released photos of the uppermost intake visible at 1,050 feet above sea level at the lake behind Hoover Dam. While this emphasizes the seriousness of the drought conditions, we have been preparing for this for more than a decade. See, they saw this over 10 years ago. Probably closer to that 22 years I said in the last session that they've been having that drought out there. You follow me? See? And you go back 22 years, what we talking? 2000? Huh? Right? What did y'all say? I'm going to hasten it in the time of my servant. Right? That's at the back end of chapter 62, Yeshaya. I'll read it for you. Right? Huh? Because you just read chapter 62, really chapter 61. Matter of fact, take it to chapter 50. That I mean, all this in the middle of Yeshaya is talking about basically now, alluding to now. You understand what I'm saying? You know, you could basically started at chapter 40 and just read on through the end of chapter 66 Yeshaya. It's basically all talking about now. Every now and then it alludes to the past, but it's all basically talking about now and beyond now. You follow me? But the back end of chapter 62, I just pick it up and read. I'll pick this up because at verse 10 in chapter 62, it's talking about when this Jerusalem movement leaves out of here, right? And it said, lift up the standard to the people. Say, go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people, cast up the highway, gather out the stone, the stumbling block, right? You follow me? Lift up the standard for the people. That's Yah righteousness. You follow me now? Verse 11, behold, Yah hath proclaimed unto the end of the world, say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation comes. Behold, his reward is with him. That's Yah. You understand the reward? And his work before him, right? Because we know what we're supposed to do when we get to Jerusalem, get to Israel, right? And they shall call them, right? The holy people, the redeemed of Yah. Thou shalt be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. Wait a minute. This is not this is good, but this is not what I was talking about. I'm trying to find out where did I read that now? Where he said he gonna hasten it. Where is it? Oh, back into 60. Okay, still talking about the same thing. But let me go back here. Chapter 60. Let me just pick this up at verse. Let me just pick it up at verse 19. But all of you should read it. You know, like I said, pick it up at 40, but definitely beam in on from really 42 is talking about the servant, 49 is talking about the servant, 53 is talking about the servant. You know what I mean, specifically, but it's all talking about the Jerusalem movement. But I'm gonna pick this up again at chapter 60, and then you know how chapter 60 starts, right? Again, I've alluded to it earlier. Rise and shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yah is risen upon thee. That's his movement, his arm, right? Yah righteous, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, but Yah shall arise upon thee, right? And his glory shall be seen upon thee, just like he did with our forefathers, you understand, in the wilderness, right? The light by day, the light by night, the fire over the tabernacle at the night, and the cloud by the daytime. But I'm going to just cut to the chase. chapter 60, verse 19. Right? The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but Yah shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy strong one thy glory. Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for Yah shall be thine everlasting light. Right? That's the law and all the attributes of the law, right? The light and that wisdom that Yah inseminates into us, right? Which is the first light you see in Genesis chapter 1. That light is representative of wisdom. When you go to Proverbs 8 in the 9th chapter, what did Yah say? He said before he created anything, he brought forth wisdom. That's the first light, because without wisdom, you don't have any light, right? And you beginning of wisdom is the fear of Yah, which again, you come to that law, statutes, ordinances, judgments, commandments, and precepts of Yah, and you start to turn and submit and embrace that. Now you showing forth wisdom. That's light. You follow what I'm saying? And that's what it's saying here. Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy new moon withdraw itself, for Yah shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people all also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. Right? A little one should become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. What did I say earlier about it's going to be, you understand, descendants out of each one of them 13 tribes of Israel, males and females, that's going to return to Yah, and they'll be the strongest ones, and Yah's going to plant us back in the land, Yeshua chapter 6, and out of those, the remnant of them 13 tribes, he's going to bring forth those tribes again in full, full blossom, full bloom. Okay? That's what it's saying here, right? You follow me? A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yah, will hasten it in his time, the time of his arm, his movement, Yah righteousness. Okay? So again, drought. Lake Mead out of Las Vegas, right? You understand what I'm saying? We don't have enough water supplies right now to meet normal demand. The water is not there. This is the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. Okay, the agency told some 6 million people in sprawling Los Angeles, Ventura, and San Bernardino counties to cut their outdoor watering to 1 day a week, effective June 1st, or face stiff fines. And again, that's where that brother was I mentioned earlier. He ran around San Bernardino. Okay, where price for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartments of around $2,000 something. Okay, say the surface level of another massive Colorado River reservoir, Lake Powell, dipped below a critical threshold in March, raising concerns about whether Glen Canyon Dam can continue generating power for some 5 million customers across the U.S. West. You hear that? They might not be able to get electricity for about 5 million customers. Now, that's how serious this drought is. That's the ramification. I got something else here about it again, too. Okay, Chicago Tribune, May 1st, right? Israeli guard and Palestinian man killed in the West Bank. I mean, that's almost every day. Huh? Every day. Bulldozers, aircraft called in to fight wildfire near New Mexico City. See, fires, droughts. I mean, this stuff happening everywhere. Okay? Everywhere. Man. I tell you, man, this is something. That's the hand of Yah. That's, how can you fight Yah? It's an impossibility. Only a fool would try. Chicago Tribune, May the 3rd. Okay? You understand? Now check this. Shipments put strain on U.S. arsenal. Biden to visit plant in Alabama and push for more aid to Kiev. Arms shipment. What? You understand? Puts a strain on the U.S. arsenal. Shipping stuff to the Ukraine. Okay? Also, the Edomites, right? Israeli slams Russia over Lavrov's Nazism remarks. This is what I was talking about. Now that's Lavrov there. See it? Now check this out. If you haven't seen it, right? This is out of Tel Aviv. The Edomites Monday lashed out at Russia's over unforgivable comments by its foreign minister about Nazism and anti-Semitism, including claims that Adolf Hitler was Jewish. Because he more likely was. Like I said, Adolf Eichmann was the Edomite. You understand what I mean? Said the Edomites, which summoned the Russian ambassador in response, said the remarks blamed Jews for their own murder in the Holocaust. And that's true. Because that's the Illuminated Edomites that caused the whole situation. World War I, World War II. And that's a fact. Okay? See, it's coming out, but you got to have some understanding to discern it, right? Said it was a steep decline in the ties between the two countries at a time when the Edomites, Israelis, the Jews, right, had sought to stake out a cautious position between Russia and Ukraine and remain in Russia's good stead for its security needs in the Middle East. The Russians like, we ain't having it. We know who you are. Okay? More likely, we know what you are. Asked in an interview with an Italian news channel about Russia's claim that it invaded Ukraine to denazify the country, Sergei Lavrov said that Ukraine could still have Nazi elements even if some figures, including the country's president, were Jewish. Zelensky, right? So when they say, how can Nazification exist if we're Jewish? In my opinion, Hitler also had Jewish origins. This is what Lavrov thought. So it doesn't mean absolutely anything. For some time, we have heard from the Jewish people that the biggest anti-Semites were Jewish. Okay? He said, speaking to the station in Russian, dubbed over by an Italian translation. That's what he said, right? Probably said more than that. They probably cut some, right? In some of the harshest remarks since the start of the war in Ukraine, Israeli Foreign Minister Yair Lapid called Lavrov's statement unforgivable and scandalous and a horrible historical error. Yeah, right. The Jews did not murder themselves. Oh, yeah, they did in the Holocaust. All right, said Lapid, that yeah, they did too. The lowest level of racism against Jews is to blame Jews themselves for anti-Semitism. Well, that's a fact. Okay, now Lavrov laid it on them. Okay, now you understand? I tell you, boy, it's coming out a little more all the time, a little more all the time. You follow me? But you know, like I said, I know. We can't be the only ones that understand about these Edomites, okay? I'm waiting for the first nation to come out and say they're Edomites, other than us. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know some of them got to know this. You follow me? I know some of them got to know it, that they Edomites. Also, New Zealand reopens, welcomes back tourists. You know, New Zealand had locked down, right? So now they back open. Said New Zealand welcome tourists from the U.S., Canada, Britain, Japan, and more than 50 other countries for the first time in more than 2 years, Monday, after dropping most of its remaining pandemic border restrictions. Okay? Yes, sir. How are thy hidden things, secret things sought up and searched out, O Esau? Chicago Tribune, May the 3rd. Minneapolis police ripped in report. Force abuse social media to monitor black people in groups. And you know, I read some of this earlier, right? I tell you, boy, FBI's in on it. FBI, okay? And again, if they was doing it in Minneapolis, they doing it everywhere, okay? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 4th. U.S. to hold back Lake Powell water to protect hydropower. Okay? Just pulled it this morning. U.S. officials announced what they called extraordinary steps on Tuesday to keep hundreds of billions of gallons of water stored in a reservoir on a Utah-Arizona line to prevent it from shrinking more amid prolonged drought and climate change. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation plans to hold back about 480,000 acre-feet of water in Lake Powell to maintain Glen Canyon Dam's ability to produce hydropower for millions of homes and businesses in the region. has roughly enough water to serve 1 to 1.5 million average households annually. Okay? Now, because this water dissipates, they won't have electricity. Now, that's where we are. That's what's going on. Okay? And that's what y'all said. Just to, again, you understand? Chapter 42, Yeshaya, right? And I mentioned it in the past, mentioned it earlier today, but I'll read it to you. 42nd chapter. You know how that chapter starts out. Behold my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delights. I put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail nor be discouraged till he have set judgment in the earth. It ain't gonna fail after that. All right. And the isles wait for his law. And as I said before, you can't be waiting for something you have no knowledge of, right? Thus saith Yah, or the strong one, Yah. He that created the heavens and stretched them out. He that spread forth the earth and that which comes out of it. He that gives breath unto the people appointed and spirit to them that walk therein. Yah of hosts, right? I, Yah, have called thee in righteousness and will hold thine hand and will keep thee. And he's definitely done that to this day. And give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. I am Yah, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Sing unto Yah a new song, and his praise from the end of the earth. Ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice. The villages that Kedar doth inhabit, let the inhabitants of the rocks sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let them give glory unto Yah, and declare his praise in the islands. Yah shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. And that's what happens now. These natural resources, again, people like, hey, you ain't taking my natural resources. You follow me? And then you understand, well, they got this and I got to get this. I got to, you know what I mean? Jealousy going all the way down to the corners. You understand? In these nations, people get jealous. They have no understanding. You follow what I'm saying? He shall cry, yes, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. Because again, now the illuminated Edomite, they want what Russia got. Just like they wanted what Germany had back there a little over 100 years ago. That's what precipitated World War I. Now they're trying to precipitate another war. Because they want what the Russians got. You understand? Natural resources. That's Esau. Huh? You follow me? The illuminated Edomites, right? I have long time held my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And we see this going on. Not only here in America, in the world, right? And I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. Didn't I just read that? Now. See, and I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I used to be one of them, right? I will lead them in the paths that they have not known, right? You follow me? I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight, giving us the wisdom and understanding of these things that's been attacked, these things that's been changed. Like I said, Jerusalem's supposed to break its clouds, remove the stumbling blocks. Didn't I just read that a little while ago? Right? Gather out the stones from out in front of the people. Set up the waymarks in the right position. That's been taken down, that's been turned around the opposite direction. That's what Jerusalem is to do. That's what we've been doing all these years, right? These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. See? But the very next verse, verse 17, but he's going to turn back all those who in idolatry. They're going to be turned back. For Yah righteousness, Jerusalem, and the Holy Seed, peace, Q&A to follow. Yah bless everybody.